Yo, everyone, what's up? Welcome to Xbox Ultimate Podcast episode number, what are we on? 143.
No.
That's a special
No,
number
no.
for you, babe. What?
No. It is. Wait, what?
143.
Is it really?
Yeah, episode 143.
Oh, I thought it was 130 something.
No.
Did I do a typo?
I don't think so. I don't know. That's what you put. I just
No,
went with
it's episode 134, I think.
Oh, it's a typo then. Yeah, I don't know.
Where's the typo?
It would be the 143.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was a little high. It is 134.
Well, when you said that, I was like, that sounds high.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 134.
Yeah,
is that my bad? Did I do that?
Yeah, you did that. It's my. I'm like Ron Burgundy. I just read whatever the fuck's in front of my screen. I don't know. I just assume she's right because she usually always is. So
I know. That's why I'm just like in disbelief right now because I don't mess up.
Yeah, that's
why I was back on the show when there's a fuck up.
Yeah, it's like 143. Like, what's going on? Wow, we've been done more episodes than I thought. That's why I was sounding like that. It's like, wow, okay. Yeah,
my bad.
134. Yeah, we're a little short-handed today. 3-Bit may be joining us a little later. And Fuzzy's not available today. Psycho's still out of town. But saving the day is our beautiful wife. Not our beautiful wife.
Ours. Yeah.
Hey, husband.
My beautiful wife, Caitlin, making a reappearance here on Xbox Ultimate. Hey, baby. How you doing?
Hey. I saw that you were a little short-handed, and I'm just sitting here anyway, so figured I'd join you.
Yeah, thanks for saving us, and thanks also for everything you do on the channel and stuff.
I'm always gonna be here for my husbands.
That's right. How you doing, Jasper?
I'm doing all right. I've been playing X Defiant today. Playing Ghostwire last night. X Defiant can use some work, but it has potential. I think most of it right now is server issues because the latency, like dying around corners, is pretty bad. It's the worst I've seen in any game. So if they can get the server side fixed, it may have legs. So we'll see.
So it's the worst you've ever seen in any game ever, but it might have some legs here. We'll see. I haven't had a chance to dive back in yet, but I got it reinstalling right now. So I've tried it 2 other times. Are we allowed to stream it this time?
Yeah.
We are.
But
okay.
Babe, I thought that I know the first time that you played it, you didn't like it at all. But I thought this last time that you had played it, the second time, that you didn't think it was as bad.
It wasn't as bad. It was improved, but it was still bad.
Oh, okay.
But it was still playable. It was more playable this last time. So
right.
we'll give it a go again and see how it's improved. I think Ubisoft needs a win. So maybe
it's multiplayer, right?
Yeah,
it's like Call of Duty, but Ubisoft.
Oh, is it take a long time to install? Or is it small?
50 gigs, so
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Maybe like an hour or two for you.
Oh, wow, okay.
I can invite you, I think, to the because it's like a beta, like a closed beta.
Oh, not everyone can play. Okay.
Yeah, it's like by invite only or whatever. But I have invites I can send out.
I bet you I have one. Would it be in like my Microsoft email?
Yeah, if you have one, I don't know. You need to check that and see.
I will.
If you're signed up with Ubisoft's website, maybe.
I'm pretty sure I am, but
right on. Oh, we got. Side note, also, I was going to announce today, we do have a new panel member on this show, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it today.
It's me.
But I did want to make a formal announcement that you've seen him the last couple of weeks. He's been on numerous times the last few weeks. Game Pass Dad is now officially a panel member for Xbox Ultimate Podcast, part of the Fun Speculation family. So congratulations to Bob, aka Game Pass Dad. Whenever he's available on a Friday, he's going to be joining us. One of the great guys out there. And I'm glad that he's joining our channel and the show. You'll see more of them. A lot of Bob will be a lot of pickles. You'll see a lot more pickle Papa and all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to seeing Bob again on the show. But we also have Pong Soul. If you heard me and Pong last night, we had a long, about 3-hour show, but that was a lot of fun. How you doing, Pong?
I'm exhausted, but Great thing about caffeine is you can borrow from the future energy reserves and be okay. So that's what I'm doing right now. But great to be here, fam. Basically, what Mav is trying to say with that last little bit there was that between 3-Bit and Bob, we're actually going to have maybe a whole member. So that'll be nice. Between those two, we might actually have a full panel each week. No, it's great to hear that Pickle Papa is joining us. It is April, so he is Pickle Papa the entire month. But it's great that he's joining the family. But great to see everybody here. Great to have the beautiful Miss Caitlin on board. My surprise new wife. Amazing to have you here, Caitlin.
You might want to say that on the down low in your house.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just jokes.
It was the bell that did it for me.
Do we live in Utah? Is this kind of relationship?
Yes, we're gonna all have to move there. So maybe you'll all see us soon from one house. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's go!
Oh my gosh!
Xbox Ultimate on the next level. Let's do this.
That's sister wives though. But does that make us like brother?
You're gonna be brother husbands.
We're brother husbands.
So is this like? Was this your whole plan, Matt? Because you always dreamed about that cabin and us all meeting there. So like, is that in Utah? Or?
It's in Utah.
It's in Utah.
But you guys ain't touching my wife. I'll kill you.
Wow. I think that's Caitlin's decisions, not yours.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
You don't own her, Mav. You don't own her.
Yeah.
I own y'all.
It's true. She does.
No, great to be here. Happy Friday night, everybody. I hope you all had a phenomenal week, and we got some topics to get into. Obviously, if you heard our show last night, this is adult daycare. This is not actual podcasting, so we are the man babies and man lady tonight who are going to cry. No, I didn't mean that.
Woman baby.
Lady baby.
Is there something you haven't told me, babe? I'm confused.
I don't know what
I did screw that one up. Lady baby is what I meant to say. So,
okay.
I want a divorce, please.
We're already down one. All right. Anyways, awesome to be here. We do have a lot to get into, and we're gonna cry some more about Redfall and maybe preach some doom and gloom. How Xbox, because Redfall is 30 frames. It's over with, folks. It's over with because that's all we do is talk about how Xbox is dying. And this is it. So not too many more episodes of Xbox Ultimate. We're going to have to swap on over. We're going to do the Switch. This will be PlayStation Ultimate soon enough because Xbox is toast.
I'm thinking about PC Ultimate. This is where we're going.
Well, yeah, we can do PC Ultimate too. Yeah, let's do PC Ultimate.
PCMR Ultimate. Sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
big time Xbox fans here. But it's been a little disappointing. We had 2 shows this week already, like a 3-hour show on Wednesday. Just
I know.
All
you guys were internet famous for a while. I mean, there's a lot of people talking about you out there on Twitter.
Yeah, it was interesting. 3-hour show where man babies just cry.
Hey, it's the purge,
complain.
everybody.
Yeah.
Lose your subs this week by criticizing Xbox. It's fantastic.
Let's go.
Even Boxenberger lost over 100 subs. My God, out of all people, Boxenberger. Really?
The gaming enthusiast from Germany lost those. Interesting. Shout out to Boxenberger. He's got an amazing channel.
Shout out to Brother Box.
So we won't talk as much about Redfall today just because we've ran the gamut between last night's show and Wednesday's show, but it is still a little bit of a conversation to have. So I kind of more of a community conversation though, like about what goes on when Xbox is deserving of criticism, right?
They never are.
Apparently so. Huge Xbox fans. We're all like primary platform is Xbox, and I feel like we've all been waiting and patient and singing the praises and all this kind of stuff, and sometimes it's just shit ain't good enough, and you kind of let people know, and then it's like this massive backlash about whining and crying and stuff like that, and it's like, for me, I just never want to be the person just to accept whatever and just say okay, sure, you know what I mean. And some things are more important to me than others, right?
You just don't care about devs, Mav.
Apparently.
So, they do this stuff for free, and they're giving us things out of the goodness of their heart.
I care about devs, but I don't put devs above anybody else. Right? Like I openly say, I've talked about that numerous times. Like they get my respect. I appreciate everything they do. I appreciate the art that they
They
create.
perform miracles.
Yeah.
Miracles.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're playing these games. Like, somebody has to make them, you know. But for me, game developers aren't above criticism. Xbox isn't above criticism, just like anybody else. We're not above criticism, right? We got plenty of it this past week, right? And that's fair. You know, if you
How dare you, man?
if you don't like any negative talk or criticism, then if you want to live in a bubble, that's you. You know, and I respect that completely, right? But I don't like when people spend all day talking about and shit talking people that have criticism over something instead of actually addressing the topic at hand. If you want to say, hey, I'm okay with 30 frames, it is what it is for me. I'm good with that. That's cool, right? But when you go online and you just shit talk people for an entire day that are criticizing something, that's more weird energy for me, because it's like, what do you care more about? The stuff that people are saying, or do you care more about the game, right? And it's kind of strange that somebody that says that they don't care about what people say spend all day talking about what people are saying. Just a thought, right? But Redfall is a little bit of a disappointment. But it's been interesting with the community. Like, it's almost like this civil war going on right now is what it's been called. And I think that's overreaching, because I think everybody, for the most part, is cool. Like,
it's one fucking sided though.
Yeah, it seems like it. What do you mean by that, though?
We've had civil war.
I mean, like, all these guys that are pissed off at like y'all for going after Xbox and criticizing them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because,
like, why do they care?
I don't see a lot of people going after those people that are okay with it. You know, but
exactly. That's what I mean.
A shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, y'all aren't talking shit on them because they don't care.
Right. You're so wrong for not caring.
Like, why don't you care? Why don't you fucking care?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. You know what I mean? It's like personal criticism versus game criticism, right?
Yeah.
And that's where it's weird, and it's different, because like some people out there feel like they have to defend something no matter what, so then it goes to attacking anybody that's criticizing it. You know what I mean? And this is a par for the course for whenever anything comes up. I remember, Xbox Live price increase, right? 12 months, for the E3 showcase last year, different things like that. Delay of Starfield and Redfall. Starfield was announced in September. We gave a little bit of smoke about that because of the 12-month show, right? These are the different things, and really you can count them on one hand, the amount of criticism really that we've had over the last couple of years. And but it's just really interesting, that energy that gets put out there every single time. Is that
we've talked about it too, Mav. We've talked about it though. We've talked about the people who do this at different times, because again, they wind up doing is lumping everybody together, and that's like the shitty part. Like when they decide that you're wrong for your opinion, and they don't agree that you should be voicing your opinion, then they just lump everybody together and they start calling out everybody. Like, that's not how this works. I agree that there is a point where criticism is way too much, and you get like, again, there's people out there calling for Phil's job.
Right.
Like, okay, all right. Listen, let's all calm down here. So I agree that there's a point where it goes overboard, but they don't ever specify exactly what they're talking about. They just go, anybody criticizing right now is on the wrong side, and you guys are all just wannabe ponies. You want to be clickbait artists. You just want these views. That's all you're doing this for. You make it all up. Like, they do that generalization of everybody who happens to be having a different opinion than them, and it's like, no, that's not. It's more nuanced than that. There are those of us who want to have intelligent conversations with criticism involved that are actually explaining why we have an issue with this versus the people out there going, Fire Phil, worst ever. This is the reason why. Microsoft sucks, or the doom and gloom. Microsoft is done. It's over with. They can't do shit right. It's done. That's it. Close up shop. Like, that is completely separate from what we do here, or at least attempt to do. And I hope that everybody, I know most of our audience understands that, but the people that do fire off, that create the civil war, which there is no war.
I mean, this is just a gaming. It's not a gaming industry thing. Like, this is it's like political side to it. There's sports side to it. Like, it's not just a gaming issue. It's just culture. Like,
it's culture in general. It's social media. It's all of it. And we talked about that too. And I've certainly talked about it in plenty of rants about what happens nowadays, that people can't. Normal discourse and discussion is gone. Like, there is, like, for many people,
it's all in or nothing.
It's all black or white. It's all, that's it. Either you're evil or you're good. Like, there is no anything in between, like, at all. And that's with everything, like Jasper just said. I totally agree. It's just that here in gaming, which is even more ridiculous if you think about it at the end of the day, it's surfaced and it's pouring out, because like Mav said, every time we have something like this is exactly what happens. So again, we try to be more intelligent. We try to come with actual basis and facts behind what we're saying. And again, at the end of the day, it's just an opinion. And we're not sitting here telling everybody that you're wrong if you want to play Redfall at 30 frames. Don't care. I want you guys to enjoy it. Like I said last night, I want screenshots. I want videos, because I'm going to be living vicariously through you until that patch hits, because I'm still excited for Redfall.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great game.
Yes.
Right. And that doesn't, not having that doesn't make it a great, it doesn't take it away. You know what I mean?
But listen, if any of these guys catch any of you guys playing that game,
I'm on PC, so I'm good. I got the card out of it.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. We better watch out.
Like, if I catch
Santa
any
Claus
of you
is
playing
watching.
This game, what the fuck are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
You're gonna post about it.
Say something.
You're gonna post about it, just like you always.
You're gonna say something. Oh my god! I've already come out and said I ain't playing it though until 6 frames is coming out. But like, that people have said that if I catch any of you playing it, you know, what is it? Oh my god, I'm gonna be so
worried.
Fucking
call the cops on me? Like, what are you gonna do? Sit down.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. The gaming community is great. Amazing. One of the best communities around, because it's so passionate, right? We love the games that we play. We are invested into the ecosystems. We care about the news. We care about what's coming. We care about all these things. In my opinion, there's really no other industry really like gaming for that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And that's one of the best things about it. But sometimes the ugly kind of creeps its head through there when things aren't more universal with the opinions. You know what I mean? But it's just interesting. And I hope that people can learn to accept other people's opinions without thinking there's some kind of ulterior motive behind it. Correct. Right? And that's the main thing that really pisses me off more than anything. And we talked about this before with those other discussions, is about there's some disingenuous shows out there, disingenuous creators and all this kind of stuff that just view whatever just because they know that's going to feed into their audience, right? They know it's going to feed into the chat, if they're going to feed into all this or that. And I made a promise early on when we first started, when I was doing this show by myself, right? That will never be this channel, right? I'm super positive about Xbox. I love Xbox. I love gaming in general. But any thoughts that come from me or anybody on this panel is going to be genuine, regardless of if the audience likes it or not, right? And we see what happens when they don't. And for the most part, this audience has been absolutely amazing, and the chat is always supportive of us and this channel. But you can see sometimes when things happen, there's a few knuckleheads that kind of creep in there. You know what I mean? But it's all right. And if you disagree, that's okay. Just try and be a little bit respectful when you go on Twitter instead of calling people names and all that kind of stuff, because that's just like, it gets a little ridiculous at that point, in my opinion. But thanks to this chat, amazing chat here. We already got 96 people here hanging out. A wonderful group of people. It'll get some new faces, familiar faces, and the like. Shout out to if you're listening to this show later on audio platforms as well, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you choose to listen. Thank you so much as well. Appreciate each and every one of you. I got a couple super chats to already get to. Shout out to the amazing Chris Jones, writer for Lognet, with a $5 super chat. Says, I'm proud of Mav. Haven't seen any animal crackers in a long time. He must have kicked the habit. LOL. I thought I did, Chris, until you said the word animal crackers in the super chat. Now I'm craving animal crackers, and I'm starting to question my wife, not y'all's wife.
My wife.
Why there hasn't been my wife? Why there hasn't been in any of our grocery orders lately? Where's my animal crackers, babe?
I don't know.
Uh,
I really can't answer that.
He's trying to help you.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, I told you a little while ago I was kind of like nauseous. You know what my go-to is if I'm feeling that way?
Triscuits.
Is animal crackers. They're so bland, they just absorb whatever's in your fucking stomach. You know what I mean? So it's just like perfect. It's
Yeah, but now you have those little pieces of Triscuit
yeah,
absorbing it
those
up.
little nice pieces of shredded wheat shit in my stomach. Yeah, it's great. I love that as opposed to my slightly sweet, crispy animal crackers.
Nothing sweet about those animal crackers.
Oh, they're fantastic, Pong. You just got to try them.
They literally taste like cardboard. Like seriously.
Correct.
Disgusting.
They're a
They do.
couple of molecules away from cardboard. It makes them entirely
It might
different.
be cheaper to buy packing peanuts for you to eat.
I don't want to die.
You can
Okay?
eat those. They're
Oh,
edible.
they've got edible packing peanuts now. They've had them for a long time.
Yeah.
They used to
Oh
get
yeah,
them at
like
GameStop.
pirate's booty and stuff.
Are
is
you
kind of
are you
like that.
serious? They got
Yeah, they
Yeah,
made them
yeah.
non-toxic and edible because kids would eat them.
Correct.
No, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what they taste like? They taste like unflavored cheese puffs.
So
I
you-
kinda wanna
so you've chosen to eat them.
Try them.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
never
we
eaten
used to
them,
try,
but-
we used to try them at GameStop all the time when they started showing up. Because the packaging would say,
Did you
the
just
packaging would say completely, it would spell it out, that it was completely
let
healthy.
me get this right? You walk into a GameStop and they're like, "Are you here for a trade-in, sir? Do you,
No,
are you
no,
interested in
no.
a
When
game?"
I
I'm
worked
just
there-
trying
No,
to
no,
pack it.
Pong-
when I
So
worked there.
Hold on, Pong is like, "No, sir, I'm not here to buy a game.
No, I
I'm
want
here
your
to
edible-
try some packing
Yeah,
peanuts."
packing peanuts. No, when I worked there and they started sending all the games.
Yeah,
out.
so your manager just walks into the back.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
then
no, we
sees
all
you
were.
just
He was the first
chowing
one.
down on
He was
packing
the
peanuts.
first one. He's like, "Oh, I'll try it. Let's try these things out. I'll try it." Popped in his mouth. Yeah.
So now I know what's
Yeah,
wrong
let's
with Pong, everybody.
Right. It wasn't lead paint. It was.
It wasn't paint
Edible.
chips.
But you
it
got to
was
make sure you get the
packaging
non-toxic ones that are edible because
Yes,
there's some that
yeah.
aren't.
What if they slipped in the wrong ones and you didn't
No.
know? How would you know?
You would know because it would dissolve in your mouth. These like
You would
dissolve
know
in your mouth.
if they slipped in the wrong one.
Oh,
trust
these
me.
are the so you know that the other ones don't dissolve in your mouth.
Well, of course not. Have you ever looked at them and broke them apart? Come on.
Yeah, but I never like put one in my mouth before.
I've never put an unedible one in my mouth. No, I've never done that.
Okay.
I try not to put too many things in my mouth that I don't know what they are. Pause.
Fair enough. Chris Jones with the $2 super chat says, "Didn't know we were all married. News to me." Chris, stay away from my wife. I misspoke. I appreciate you, bro.
Our wife.
A wife. Alvin, member for 10 months. Appreciate you, Alvin. Says, "Wait, folks were really upset. This isn't a bit. Wow, people were really upset. The people were extremely upset. And
yeah.
it's a little interesting. Game Pass Dad, shout out to again the newest panel member, Game Pass Dad, graciously hit us with a super chat. $5 says, "I wonder if I do a super chat if Mav will read it verbatim like Anchorman. I am going to play Redfall at 30 frames per second and love it. My wife." It's nobody clipped that little piece out because I'm sure that's what Game Pass Dad wanted.
Fraud.
If that got posted on Twitter with that clip, that would be interesting. Shout out to Bob. Thanks, appreciate it, man. And your mom is in the chat, babe, and she says, "Wow, I sure
Our
entered
mom's
this."
in the chat. Hi, Mom.
Our mother-in-law's in the chat. It says, "Wow, I sure entered this conversation at the wrong time." Yeah,
Oh my god.
we all learned something about Pong. He likes to put weird things in his mouth and figure out if they dissolve.
No, said I
No,
tried
he
not
tries
to
to
put too many.
avoid putting
Yes.
weird things
Let's
in his
stop
mouth.
changing the story
Except for
now.
packing peanuts. Those are acceptable.
Because we knew they were edible. And somebody
Everybody
else
knew
tried
this
it
except
first.
you two, apparently.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I had no clue. That's interesting. I'm gonna go try some. I'm gonna go to GameStop tomorrow and say, hey,
Oh
you
my
know, I'm not. Can I cancel my Redfall pre-order and get some packing peanuts instead?
They
Please?
specifically have the best one. Although I don't know, GameStop's getting delivered.
They have the
Oh,
best
so they were
ones?
good?
Pong, you're not helping the case here.
You went around sampling different stores, packing peanuts, and be like,
that was a joke.
GameStops are by far the best.
Pong's gonna start his own YouTube channel soon, and it's gonna be a packing peanuts review channel, I think.
I tried Home Depot's. They have more of a woody taste, so I don't like those.
Oh man, interesting. All right, so yeah, I mean, Redfall's been an interesting conversation the last few days, but I still think it's a good game. A game can be good, but still be 30 frames. Like I think Gotham Knights is a good game. Does it deter me from wanting to play it? Yeah, 100%.
Sure.
So it's just is what it is at this point, and we'll have to hope for the best for the game, and hopefully get that update out sooner than later, right? I think that would be the best, or unless they decide to delay. Jasper, any chance they delay this thing?
No, not at all.
No?
The game's coming out. Again, it's technically not broken, so they're not going to delay it.
Right. Pong, any chance?
No, they would have announced it. They would have come out
The
this
next
week.
day already.
Yeah, the fact that they're ignoring it completely and not saying anything, which Xbox doesn't have to.
They just put out a new trailer today.
Yeah, they
promoting
put
their
out new
character.
trailers today and everything.
Yeah.
They're carrying on with their marketing. They're doing what they have to do. And Xbox doesn't owe us anything. They don't have to say anything. We can criticize and they don't have to come out and respond at all.
For sure.
Sometimes they do. Phil has in the past. Obviously, when the delay stuff was happening, he made a post about it, which we read off last night. You read off last night. So they've been very, transparent that way. But this time around, couple of weeks away, 3 weeks away from launch, no, there's no chance. They're going to roll it out there and deal with it. So, like I said, this decision was made a while ago. They knew they weren't going to hit the 60 frame mark months ago. I'm guarantee that. And they still made the decision because, like I said last night, my belief, my opinion is that there was no way they were going to have all three of their big games fall out of that 12 months. It's already bad enough and we've talked about that already, why that's bad. But to have all three fall out would have been awful. I mean, again, there was no recovery. So I think that they are pushing this out the door. Unlike we've seen them in the past, they gave Redfall a delay. But at this point with Arcane, I just think they personally talked about it, and Phil and the rest of the team were like, no, we got to get this game out. So get it out in May. If that means no 60 frames, then that means no 60 frames. We'll get it later. Yeah. So, yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, babe, do you think it's the game's set to release in what, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, something like that?
Was it the 2nd or the 5th?
Second, I think is what it is, right?
It's like, so technically that's less than 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess it'd be too late, right? We'll see. It's been done before. It's not like it's never happened.
If they do, it's going to be all y'all's fault, just so you know.
I'll accept the blame. For the release of a better game. Spooky member for 4 months says, Kate said husbands. How many Mavs are stashed away, babe?
That was Mavs doing, by the way.
Yeah, that was Mav's own fault.
What, you getting other husbands is my fault? I don't.
Yeah, you said our wife.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
That's what it all stemmed from.
You're right. My fault.
I'm not just out here pouring myself out. You're doing it.
Did you give one of them my animal crackers?
None of us want that shit.
No, they don't want
I wouldn't eat that shit. Jesus, I'd send it back.
No, I get them frosted ones.
You bought the wrong husband animal crackers. They just won't admit it.
No, she gets us frosted ones. You just don't get your ones anymore.
Right on. Yeah, thanks to the chat. We do have to get to our sponsor as well. Shout out to manscaped.com, who is a sponsor of this channel. Gentlemen, if you didn't already know, it's tax season here in the US, and you know what that means. It means that Manscaped is here to make sure your paperwork is done and your boys downstairs are having fun. Make sure you spend your tax return money on the important things this year, like family, friends, and ball deodorant. Join the 8 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with code FUNSPECULATION. Again, that's 20% off plus free shipping with code FUNSPECULATION at manscaped.com. Don't just get your money back this year, get your swagger back too with Manscaped. Let's go. Great products. Love the stuff that they sent us. It's awesome stuff. So shout out to Manscaped. Thank you again for sponsoring the channel. And guys, it's pretty good savings if you want to go check it out. Just go to manscaped.com. Get 20% off on the Lawnmower 4.0 is $20 if you're in the US plus free shipping. So that's like probably around $30 of savings at least. Well, we got some interesting other news today though, guys. This is about to turn its head on, flip on its head and turn into a positive. I don't know what I was going with.
Where are you going with that?
I'm nauseous. I don't know. We're about to flip this on its head and turn it into a
It's the Triscuits, everybody.
positive Xbox conversation.
He had healthy foods.
It's affecting
I don't
you.
know what to
Oh
do.
my God.
Where's my sugar? Where's my sugar? There you go.
Mm.
Better. All right. So there's a Supreme Court ruling that has just taken place, everybody. And this is
Yeah.
revolving an ongoing case that shout out to Hogue Law pointed this out a long time ago. Originally when the ABK merger went down, the announcement went down, and after that they had to do their public filings and then all these things. And then way back then, Hogue Law pointed out about this other case that was going on, and it could have big implications on the ABK acquisition. Well, finally, now in April, we have the decision that has come down. This is revolving a company called Axon that has sued the FTC, I believe. I'm not sure exactly
Yes.
what took place to get this all started,
Yes.
but it went to the Supreme Court, who they have ruled 9-0, I believe, in favor of Axon here to basically bypass the FTC's drag-on tactics and
Their internal reviews.
saying that, yeah, you shouldn't have to wait for their own judge within the FTC to make these decisions. You shouldn't have to allow this to drag on past your termination dates of your contracts, all these things. We find that that's not right. And they've said, hey, you can go ahead and pass it on through to us. This is a big deal. And not just for Microsoft and ABK acquisition. This is wrestling away the one big power that Lena Khan had at her fingertips. This is wrestling away the biggest tool that the FTC has at its disposal to use against the ABK acquisition and other big tech acquisitions going forward. Regardless if this is a great thing at the end of the day, I don't know. However, in this situation, if you want Xbox and you want this ABK acquisition to go forward without lots of delays and lots of hurdles and stuff like that, this is a big deal, because essentially what this means is Xbox could sue the FTC, get the filings pushed forward through the Supreme Court, it sounds like, and have them make the decision, or federal courts, and have them make the decision, as opposed to having these things like Lena Khan and the FTC wants to do by dragging these things out and causing problems with the contracts and the acquisition deadlines, right? Because that's been their tactics all along on these deals. And now Xbox has already come out and said beforehand that they were going to close ahead of the termination date regardless, but some were still questioning whether that was going to happen or not. But it seems like with this now, that's even less out of the question, and they can just kind of push forward with this without worrying too much about the FTC. So now later this month, we're still expecting the CMA decision within the next week or two, right? And after that, shortly following would be the EC decision. This deal could end up getting closed with ABK sooner now because of this ruling for this different case. So shout out to Hogue Law for a long time ago pointing that out. And it's really interesting stuff here. So is this Lena Khan, has she just basically caused less power for the FTC It seems what it's like to me because all these things that they've been doing has been now grasping for more powers, grasping for laws to be changed in their favor has actually reversed course and it's done the opposite. Now they actually have less power than they've had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting.
Lena Khan's done a lot of damage just because she's been so. Let's be clear. This was a loophole that the FTC used long before Lena Khan.
Yes. Yep.
This has been around. This was an abuse of power that the FTC had been doing for a very long time. So even when other people were in charge, this is something that when a case was brought forward, the FTC would use this stall tactic by putting it to an internal review and continuing the process, because with companies that aren't trillion-dollar Microsoft corporations, that's where this company came in. They're a small company. A lot of those companies would just drop out and throw up their hands and say, we give up. It was that's all this that's what this was. This was a tactic, a stall tactic to make people quit, because the legal fees to get through this process were astronomical, on top of the fact that they could just continuously delay this internally until forever. Like that's why this company actually took it all the way to the Supreme Court, is because their deal's been wrapped up for years. And there's a timeline that's supposed to happen within the FTC, and the FTC has just been ignoring that timeline when they don't want a case to go to federal courts, and just been doing, oh, nope, we need more time, we got to stall. And they come up with reasons, and they get their internal judges to agree to it, and they push court dates back and all this kind of stuff. So again, this abuse has been a long time coming. However, Lena Khan, obviously, and what the FTC has been doing underneath her, have brought it to a new level in other areas. So this company was already in the courts with this case. They've been bringing it up through the system. That's why they finally got to the Supreme Court. So this was all kind of happening at the same time. But this is kind of the perfect storm for Microsoft. And again, shout out to Hogue. We talked about it when Hogue talked about it back in the day. But shout out to Hogue for, again, being amazing person. And please, everybody, go check out his latest video where he talks about the stroke, and he's doing a whole series on it. But not only just being a great human being, but a resource to us, because again, this is a guy who deals in these situations and understands it. And that's why he called this out so long ago, because he knew this case was coming up, and he knew what kind of impact it could have for Microsoft and ABK. And the fact that this has now come about, and he predicted this, he thought this was going to win, because he said the Supreme Court would not have taken this case unless they really were already leaning towards, hey, this is wrong, and the FTC needs to be held here accountable, and we need to change this. So this has all come about now. So the big deal is it doesn't change anything short term for Microsoft right now. They're still waiting on the EC. They're still waiting on the CMA. And I don't think we'll hear anything about this until the EC and the CMA both rule April, and then we expect sometime in May.
The Axion case said that the final ruling is in June for those Axion versus,
Is it finally June?
Okay.
Perfect. That just rolls right into what I was going to say anyway. So thank you, Jasper. I appreciate that. So yeah, short term, it doesn't change anything. But after that's all said and done, let's say the EC, the CMA both approve this deal with concessions, whatever the case may be, everything's looking good. You guys got to remember, the FTC already said, oh, well, we're not going to hear your case, Microsoft and ABK, until August.
Yeah.
Which puts it past the deal, the contract date, the due date for ABK and Microsoft, which means they would have to renegotiate. So let's say everything's free and clear except for the FTC at that point, and June rolls around, Supreme Court's final decision is locked in the books, set to go. Well, now, if the FTC isn't budging and they're still playing their game, which everybody's kind of expecting them to at this point, then Microsoft can now go, all right, cool, let's go. And they can bring it and use this case to say, we're being treated unfairly. The FTC is tying us up. This deal needs to get to the federal court so we can get this rolling, because their internal judge, even if they're supposed to be neutral, we all know how that kind of works. So let's get this to the federal court so we can be done with this thing sooner, because we got a deal in place and we're running out of time before we got to renegotiate. And then they could rule and say, yes, absolutely, federal courts, now get it. FTC, it's out of your internal review. It's going straight to the federal courts. And then that whole process will start. And Microsoft, again, for people who don't remember, again, shout out to Hogue for explaining all this stuff. Back in the day, Microsoft, when this first started with the FTC, when they first went to the internal review, said up front, their attorneys walked in and said, listen, we're already expecting this to go to the courts. So we're going to start front loading everything to you, internal FTC judge. I forget his name now. We're going to start front loading all this documentation to you so that when it does go to the federal courts, we're not going to be wasting time producing documents. We want everything up front. And this judge agreed and said, yep, go ahead and do that. So they've been front loading their whole case already. So again, if it gets to the federal courts, that means a much quicker time frame for Microsoft and ABK to get a ruling on this. And again, as we've been saying from the beginning, as the experts have been saying from the beginning, anybody who knows anything about M&A law has been out here and says FTC has no case. That's why they didn't want to go to the federal courts. That's why they didn't apply for an injunction. They don't want this anywhere in any of the federal courts. They just want to delay this and hope that the EC, CMA, and some of the other regulatory bodies nixed it.
Yeah.
So then Microsoft would give up here. Well, the opposite is now happening. Seemingly, we don't know yet for sure, but seemingly everybody else has turned the corner that was kind of opposed to this. So it'll be the FTC that's alone on this island. And that's when Microsoft has the full advantage, and they are going to take this to the federal courts and win. So then it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Well said. Good explanation, Pong. Explain it way better than I can. So thank you. Yeah, I think this just helps Microsoft even more because, yeah, I even heard industry analysts be like, well, I still got to get through that FTC, all those hurdles and stuff. And this is a big move to help that, right? Welcome to the show 3-bit. Thanks for being late. Appreciate you here, man. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome to the show, man. You been working on a game or something?
A little bit, yeah. I've been working on some stuff.
Yeah.
What you working on? Yeah.
It's been busy. It's been really busy, but I definitely had to hop on for this show. Wanted to see my fam and talk some gaming, talk some FTC stuff. Pong, you said it very well. I don't think I could say that any better. I know.
Can you just explain why you made Redfall 30 frames, 3-bit first?
Yeah.
How you did that?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
My fault. No. Yeah. You explained it very well, Pong. Like for different Hogue has been saying for a while. Other Xbox centric YouTubers are saying like FTC doesn't really have a case, and it's not that they don't have power per se. It's just it's just the way that we handle regulation here in the US compared to other places. You have to go through the courts, make sure everything is fair, and just go through due process. And you can't have a body that basically is like, hey, we don't want your game.
We're going to change the rules on the fly. That doesn't work here.
Yeah, it doesn't really work here comparatively to other places. So
the only problem I see with it is like they could come up with like the FTC, if they're going to like be fighting the Supreme Court, they could maybe find some way to like delay it even longer. And also it's the government, so it could just get delayed naturally just through slow shit going on with the government. So like I don't know if like it necessarily gets finished in June. Like there's a possibility they could delay it still. So
yeah.
There is.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be done in June, but I'm saying that they'll get to that point and they'll be able to move it to the courts and nix that August FTC court date, right? That internal court date that they set. They'll nix that and hopefully move up the timeline in a federal court. They could find a favorable federal court to take the case sooner rather than later, right? Because of the time sensitivity of the contract. That could all happen, and that's why Microsoft has $1 million attorneys, because
and the fact that it's being approved in so many other places. I mean, good luck to the FTC if they did want to fight this. It's going to be a hard battle for them.
It's been a losing case for them all along. Like we've said, like they were the least of the worries for me, for Microsoft. It was mainly the CMA.
To me, it was the CMA. Like once the CMA, I'm like.
Microsoft has pretty much said that they're going to go ahead with it in the States anyway, regardless of their decision. So
yeah, they said regardless. Who said that? I remember hearing that
Smith,
somewhere. Like,
no, it was the lead attorney. I forget, is a lady. I forget her name. But she was the one that actually told the FTC judge internally when they did their provisional fight. I forget exactly the response I think they had to them when they had their hearing. They had the hearing, and she told the FTC judge basically like, look, what we're going to do is we're going to get the proposed remedies to the CMA and the EC, right? And whatever they accept, then we're going to propose those same ones to you guys. And if you don't like those and you don't allow us to close, we're still going to close. Over the top.
Yeah.
And regardless of what you say, expecting that you're going to take as federal, right? And that's what they told them, because they didn't want to have to renegotiate their contract with ABK, because there's a deadline, and that's the FTC's tactics with these deals, right? Is to drag these things on past the deadlines, and that's why this ruling is a big step forward, because it makes it to where Microsoft doesn't have to even prolong it, even if they do close in June. Like, even if the federal courts don't hear it yet, it still gets a resolution faster, right? As opposed to the FTC potentially trying to drag this thing on for years, which is what they would want to do, right? And the Supreme Court made the right call in this situation, because, you know, like, that tactic is it's a tactic. It's not a legitimate thing. It's a stall tactic to try and get these deals, to get them to back out and give up without actually making a decision, right? And that's really not fair for any business,
It's
right?
an abuse of power.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Exactly. So,
And wasn't it like the FTC when Microsoft first got in the room and they were basically going to be talking about why the deal is beneficial and what they'll do to negotiate, that the deal, when they first sat in the room, I think it was Brad was in the room with the FTC for like 11 minutes or something, and they basically was like, no, we're canceling it. Like, they didn't even bother hearing them out. Like, I remember
that's when they posted on Twitter. Remember, that's when
Yeah.
the Microsoft communications manager posted on Twitter that they were out in Washington D.C. and everybody,
and
we
they
were
wouldn't
like,
even
"Ooh,
hear their
we're gonna start it,"
argument.
and they
Yeah.
showed up, and FTC and Lena was like, "Yeah, no, we're not even gonna talk about this now. We're not gonna do that."
Yeah. So crazy. You would think that the goal of the FTC is to actually investigate to see if this deal, that's where it gets all political, because like if you were actually doing a job, and you would see that, like, or at least just talk to Microsoft. I feel like in that situation, that's my world where everything is fair. That's not how things are, but
You silly young kid, you're so cute.
You would think the
3-bit.
FTC would.
You
the
little
goal.
innocent baby. Look at you. Everything's great. Everybody
would
plays
think
by
in the
rules.
world. All good though. All good.
Shout out to the chat again. Appreciate you all watching. God Emperor Sofa King hit us with a $2 super chat. I appreciate you. Said, Microsoft, you triggered my trap card. What's a trap card?
Oh my! It's
I'm this is above me.
Exactly what it
Is it
is.
technically
Trap card.
like Yu-Gi-Oh or something?
yeah. It's. I mean, a lot of those card games have trap cards, but it's
Yeah.
like it's a meme where it's like someone tries to make a play. And
okay.
It's like,
Yeah.
you activated my
thing.
trap card.
Oh, okay, got it.
So like
Yeah.
their play doesn't work.
Got it.
Reba just did the Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
I thought that was something else.
Yeah, no, Caitlin. No.
No.
This isn't Dead Island. Okay.
That was such a
That's
funny
next week.
shit.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, I don't recommend anybody searching the archives of our channel for "Smell My Hand" video. Don't do that. I don't recommend it. Shout out to Spartan661 with a very generous $5 super chat. Said, I enjoy all your shows. I try to listen to them when I can. Thank you for what you do. Hey, super appreciate that. Super kind thoughts. Means a lot just to hear anybody say something like that. We got numerous shows on this channel. And the fact that you say you like them all, that means a lot to me. So I appreciate that very much. Yeah, and also,
Hey, can I real quick shout out? I don't know, on Twitter it's Icon Era. They sent me a code for the X Defiant.
Whoa,
sweet.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Nice.
shout out
Cool.
to Icon Era. Thank you for sending my wife a code. That's the most you're allowed to be in her DMs.
Our wife.
No, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Xbox expansion pass. Shout out to Luke, one of the great podcasters around, the one-man talent show man extraordinaire.
Man.
One man. The Luke is great. Like nobody can host a one-person gaming podcast like Luke can. Shout out to Luke.
Him and Neo, two of the best.
Yeah,
one-man show
for sure. Yeah.
Crazy.
He says, "Happy Friday, everyone." Happy Friday to you too, Luke. I hope you're having a great day. And also, I want to give a huge shout out to Infinite Umbra, great friend of the show, great community member out there as well.
Okay, stop. He's already got a big enough ego.
I know.
Listen, he doesn't need any more. Okay,
but he's been working hard on this podcast behind the scenes for a while, right?
Yeah.
And he finally had his debut episode yesterday. Yep. So shout out to Infinite Umbra and the Fix podcast now.
Yeah.
So
he had Daniel McGee on yesterday.
Yeah,
I think Daniel McGee's his co-host. Like,
yeah.
I think
I think it was he had Colt on.
He had Colt on, but Daniel
Colt
McGee
is
his
the
co-host.
guest.
His
Right,
co-host
yeah.
is what I meant. Yeah. And then they had Colt on as a guest. Yes.
Yeah. So shout out to Umbra and congrats, bro, because I know it's big whenever you try and start something. I would say Umbra has an advantage because people know who he is when he started his show. So.
He
Umbra,
made sure everybody knew
your growth will be a lot faster than ours, I'm sure. But I appreciate you, Umbra, and great job on your show, bro. So yeah, I think this FTC stuff is really interesting, and it's going to be maybe smoother sailing from here. This next few weeks, like we predicted, is still going to be full of news with this, and the most important, significant news that we've had in the entire ABK acquisition phase. So if you're sick of ABK talk, I'm sorry, because once these decisions start coming down, this next month, it's going to be a lot of that. So get prepared, everybody. But after that, hey, guess what? Smooth sailing. So let's go. But you know what? Out of all the criticism we've had for giving Xbox negative critiques, the community did band together and give some negative critiques to something in particular. That now Xbox has come out and said, hey, we're going to address this. They've come out, and I think it was Tom Warren who actually broke this today, saying that they've listened to feedback, and the Xbox is changing their UI in the future. So they're going back to the drawing board. So I don't know how long it's going to take them, but it shows that critiques sometimes do create changes, things that we want.
They haven't had a successful
Surprising,
dashboard since the 360. The end of the 360.
Go back to the blades.
Let's
Just
go.
do it. Just do it.
Would we actually like the blades these days?
Yes.
You think
I would.
so?
'Cause
I mean,
still go
we
back to my
ca-
360 now.
We
and enjoy it.
somewhat sort of have that, like with the
Kind of,
like when you hit the guy button, but
Yes. Yeah. It's not the same though.
Yeah.
I go back to my 360 and it's like home. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Everything's right where I know it's gonna be. It's beautiful. I love it.
At 360 is the only place I can find you appearing online.
Yeah, I know because it doesn't let me hide on 360.
Yeah.
you
I
can
think
go
it
in
would
your
be cool to
profile on
have,
360 and hide, right?
Yeah, you can, but because
Oh.
I switch between the two, when I do it, it automatically pops me up.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? It says Pong Soul's online. Yeah, so unfortunately.
Maybe it'd be cool in the future to have like, I don't know, like different layouts that you can choose from. Because they're all about like moving tiles and being customizable. It'd be really cool to like classic theme or
But you know why 3-bit, right? Because the advertising.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
that
they
advertising
need
space that they that they sell,
Yeah.
that they've got to have, that helps, with everything. So unfortunately these days that's what it's about, is the marketing space.
Yeah, there's even like there's brand guidelines at my work where whenever we show a brand's logo, it has to be a certain size. So I completely understand that. It kind of sucks though.
It does.
It does suck.
There's so many great mock-ups from people that create their own UIs for Xbox online. And what is surprising, I saw Game Buffet in the chat just say, like they backtrack and they make changes all the time based on feedback, and they do. That's one thing that's great. But it'd be nice if they did hit the mark on something that they should know by now what people want, because the UI thing was surprising. You'd have to think they had seen a lot of the mock-ups and the praises and the critiques and stuff, and what we got was pretty much the same thing.
Right.
except just slightly different. You know what I mean? Like,
It's not a square; it's a rounded square.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Well, and the problem's always been is why do you offer a custom background where I can post something in the background that I want to see when I bring up my UI, but then you hide it behind all the tiles all the damn time? What's the point? Like,
Yeah, you
why?
can't even see half the.
You
Right.
put on the dead
backgrounds they
space
provide.
dynamic background. It's just a black
Right.
screen at the top. It's like cool.
Right.
Can't even see the planets.
Exactly. It's exactly what I got in my background, by the way, too. It's a great one.
So are we expecting like a significant change? Because they said basically like it means that what I take away, they're going to maybe drop down the tiles, maybe make them smaller, so we can actually see these dynamic backgrounds that are gorgeous, right? With instead of being taking up of huge fucking blocks everywhere.
Right.
So, we'll see, and it generally takes them a weirdly long time to implement these things. So when do we think we see this? Months? A year?
No.
Next E3.
5 years from now?
Next E3.
We'll hear an update
It's-
3 years later.
Then the post sounded like they were going to do something very soon. We were going to be seeing.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought that they were going to roll back some of the previous dashboard updates.
That's what I got from the
Is
inside.
that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't read deep into it, so I didn't know. So that's all they're going to do for the time being is roll back
Yeah.
some of it and then change it. Okay, all right. So then, yeah, it might be a while. Maybe by holiday. Maybe a nice Christmas gift. Like, hey, here's a new UI. I just want them to fix the handshake, right? That's all I want them to fix between the HDR. You know, when you switch over to a game, I just want them to make the menu, the UI, HDR, so that handshake doesn't have to happen. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, because every time it switches, that's very annoying
It's
on my
dramatic
TV. Like,
and like I
Yeah.
freak out that my TV's not going to come back. Like it's like come back.
It is so bad with the projector in that
Oh, I
room.
can imagine.
God, it is so annoying. Even if I click on a different YouTube video, sometimes
Right.
it does it.
Yep,
If you
yep.
click on a Netflix show, or if you click on anything, it has this long black screen out, and then because like the receiver and the projector doesn't detect that it has a source, it has
Right.
to find the source all over again. Oh my god, it's a fucking nightmare, man. So I really want them to fix that. That's my number one request as well. But you know, I think newer TVs sometimes don't have as much of an issue with that. Does yours still do that, Pong, even with your CX?
Yeah. It's anxiety inducing. Like I said, it goes away. It's a good 2-3 seconds handshake, and it's annoying as hell. So yeah, no, definitely. The newer TVs still have the same issue just because it is the changeover from standard to HDR, and there's no other way to really do it unless the menu is HDR, and then that way, the minute you turn on your Xbox, your TV's already in that mode. And
that way, when you jump into apps, it doesn't have to have that.
Right.
Your TV's like, what's going on?
What's
Are you
going
switching
on?
to HDR?
Oh, wait, no, I'm standard now. Oh, now I'm HDR. Now I'm standard.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah,
weird.
they seem to take some time with that for sure. With like making changes. I'm glad they are finally making some changes to that. Because people have been vocal about this since the launch of
Xbox One.
So it's been a long time coming. Like people have been saying like, hey, decent job, but we can't see the backgrounds you're giving us. Like the tiles are so big, and I get why, but what's
There should be a setting for that, right? For accessibility, right? If you need the large tiles, I don't want them to take it away from people that need those larger tiles, right? But it'd be nice if there's a setting that you can have a different look about it if you want, right?
And there's different ways where you can keep the marketing space. The marketing tiles still can be the size that you need them to be, right? That's still fine. If you gotta have marketing tiles around the bottom, part of the screen that are still large enough where you get that advertising dollar, so be it. But why can't everything else be minimalist? Why do you have to have everything else gigantic? I know they do studies, and I know that they are, they look at where people's eyes direct to on the screen. I know all this stuff. My dad, did commercial artist for advertising and everything else for his entire life now. So I get the concept of why they do it, but just make everything like, again, minimalist outside of the advertising. If you minimalized everything else and let us customize how we want it on our front screen, on our home screen, it'd be fine. It'd work perfect. I don't know.
Yeah. And
The
like the
pro-
PlayStation,
You could minimize it by like if you could put your games in a folder and then they all be in one tile, but then the problem comes is you have to click twice to get to your game.
Right.
So
right.
like
and they don't like that because a lot of people complain that that's too much.
yeah.
They
And
made
I
those
like the way
complaints in the
the
360
PlayStation
days.
4 like had their background. They changed it for 5, so basically in 4 you can have your own dynamic background. There's plenty of like screen space. It was simple, but it was nice to see, and you felt like you're actually, customizing, like catering your customizable experience to that console. But for the PS5, how they change it is pretty much whatever game you're on, it changes the background according to that game.
Yep.
So that's different. But I'd hope that they'll just offers customizable options. Just make it so I can make the box bigger, smaller. Because if you're Windows, if like Windows is like your thing, where you're giving people options and it's good for PC on Game Pass as well, it just makes sense to, I don't know, be able to customize it on the console as well.
also to be fair, like you spend 99% of your time in a game, so
I don't really care.
yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah,
I don't. I've never
it's
been
just
that
like a
dude out
thing.
here.
Yeah.
It's just
Except
a
for the
buzzing
HDR
thing
thing. That was the only thing.
we've been talking about since it launched. So
it's important for some people, and again,
Yeah.
I don't know why. Because again, you're right, Jesper. I'm not one of those people because I could care less. Yes, I'd love my blades black, but I really don't because I don't spend a whole lot of time there. But obviously, a lot of people want to see the background, which I do understand because a lot of people, not just the live backgrounds, but a lot of people put their favorite screenshots up on the UI, right? And it's just cool to see that. Like I had Forza screenshots up there a lot of times with cars and stuff, and it was awesome. It looked amazing. But yeah, to Mav, to your point, so many people out in the community now have done mock-ups and have allowed for advertising space and done some very creative things with the tiling to make it look so much better. It's like Xbox, just go with one of those. Use one of those, please. It works out. There's plenty of people out here that have thought about this stuff and actually done the kind of work for you. So please try to just use one of those. I'm down.
Yeah. Good thoughts. Overall though, I still like the Xbox dashboard, because it has so much there as well, which is part of the problem. You know what I mean? But I would rather have, for me personally, what Xbox has as opposed to like PlayStation's, for example, or especially Nintendo's. That's like, when you talk about
Also,
minimalist, there's like nothing to do. And the Xbox dashboard, we played a lot of Xbox dashboard, the Xbox One generation, right? And we had a blast, just scrolling all the different tiles, clicking on things, right? We're waiting on these games and stuff. But I really kind of enjoy the setup of it. I know a lot of complaints back in the day about it being convoluted and confusing and all this stuff.
That's what I was going to point to. Like, do you think that since like Xbox is our main platform, like the first like year they do a major change, I always hate the dashboard. It's like I can't fucking find anything anymore. But like after a year, you adjust to it, it's like, oh, it's right here. I know where to go. So like maybe since Xbox is our primary platform, we get used to it quicker than just like casual markets. So they constantly hate it.
Yeah. The simplest thing for me, I don't know if this is no or whatever, but if you just had the primary icons that they have, right, the My Games and Apps and the store, that your last things that you've all done, right, and maybe My Games and Apps, have it just along the bottom there, right, with the main screen taking up the dynamic background. You just hit down on the D-pad once if you want to see everything else.
Again, that's fine. The only problem is you got to account for marketing space. Marketing tiles.
Have one of those fucking tiles be some kind of ad. You know what I mean?
Well, they gotta have like 3 now. It's like 2 or 3 now across the bottom.
That's fine. Then put 2 rows on the bottom. I don't know. Just like,
I mean, to be fair, if you really wanted to see your dashboard, like why not just click your guide button and then it brings up the dashboard? Like if you don't click the guide button, you just see the dynamic background. You click the guide button, it brings up the dashboard.
Right.
Yeah, that would be pretty much just like a screensaver.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
I love those dynamic backgrounds though, man. They keep adding some really
They're
cool
amazing.
ones.
Like I said, the Dead Space one is incredible.
Do you ever think they're gonna sell them like PlayStation did last generation?
I wish they would, but they won't.
Because you would allow for some creators out there or some of these companies to like, hey, let's put in this dynamic background for our game, right?
I want to get back to the rewards that we used to get for getting achievements. Where
The
companies
avatar
would
shirts and
create-
shit.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
shirts. Yeah, for the avatars. I want avatars back. I personally love the avatar thing. I want that back. But even if you're not going to do that, remember you'd open up certain achievements and you could get a baccround as well.
But yeah,
I thought that
gamer
was
picks and
sweet.
stuff too.
Yeah. Be nice. Maybe throwing a
Yeah.
music player onto the UI too, so you can have custom game music
Like a little.
when you start it up.
You can do that. You just have. You have to do the.
Yeah,
So a bunch
you have
of,
to do it, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like an automatic start thing where you have like your
Yeah.
game music that you have like listed, and you can have like the favorite song.
This
going
is like
when you
little
bring up your Xbox.
Spotify thing up in the top
Yeah, that'd be
top
so
of it.
sweet.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd
pretty
be so
sick.
Now we're gonna make it really convoluted.
Yeah. Can we add this to it also, guys? Yeah, there's lots of cool shit though on there. It'd be nice if it was a little simpler. And sleek. Let's see what else we got. There was more news today as well, guys. Ubisoft Plus, not today. This is news from, was it yesterday? You're on mute, Pong.
I was gonna say, what did we get today from Ubisoft?
Yeah, I know.
There's nothing
This was
changed.
yesterday, right? Was it yesterday the Ubisoft
Yeah.
Plus news came down? Yeah.
Yep.
Ubisoft Plus has finally hit Xbox. It's not exactly what we wanted. It
Could
is
be part
there.
of the ABK stuff too, as well. So just throwing that out
Right.
there.
It is there. So correct me if I'm wrong, Jasper. $17.99 if you want to play Ubisoft Plus on Xbox.
I think that's right. But it's dead in the water, so I don't really care.
I'm curious in the chat if anybody is going to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus at $7.99.
Maybe
$7.99, yeah.
$17.99. Sorry. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I think if they were gonna do it smart with day one, like they should have made it like $7 or $8 a month, and that's still maybe cutting it for some people. But with me, like, I may get it if Assassin's Creed comes out and I have like a weekend off that I can like dedicate to that game. Other than that, I'm just not gonna care really.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be that thing where you buy it for that one game and then you cancel it immediately when you're finished with that one game.
Right.
So
Yep.
Unsubscribe. Would you allow me to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus at $17.99, Bib?
what do you want to play that you don't own?
I mean, I don't allow or not allow you to do things. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I do think it's way too much.
It is expensive. This is something I will do to save money if I'm want to play a game, but I don't want to spend when Riders Republic came out, right? I would have maybe subscribed to Ubisoft Plus for like a month and played it. You know what I mean? And then canceled it. Stuff like that. That's where I think I may do this, but it's
I
not
don't
a
even know if I would
subscription
have done
I'm
it
gonna
for that game. I think it has to be like, I think a major game that comes out from them. Like, I don't know.
What game will get you to sign up for it, Jasper?
Assassin's Creed Mirage probably will. If I can have that like good weekend off to actually finish the game within that month period that I know I could, and maybe if there was like some new big Tom Clancy game. Other than that, they're never getting my money.
Okay. Pong, will you do a 1 month here and there on this thing?
Yeah, we talked about this last night, right? With the way that it's currently set up, if there was a game or two that launched, then I probably would do it. If I knew, like Jasper said, if I knew I was going to have time, like if they launch a new game in September and I got Starfield, I'm not signing up for it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. So it's going to be a case by case kind of basis for this thing, but I certainly can see the use behind it as a subscribe, unsubscribe. But like we talked about last night, that's not what Ubisoft wants. I mean, that's not what you
Yeah, they
create
want recurring customers.
Yeah, that's
right?
not what you create subscription services for. Again, this is what the Netflix problem that they have that they're trying to fix now is that too many people got used to binge watching, and then canceling the subscription as soon as their favorite show was done. You know, they were done binge watching after a couple weeks. So that's the problem, and Ubisoft doesn't want that. That's why I said this doesn't make any sense. I see a deal down the road at some point. Like I said, the more I thought about it, the more this potentially could be Microsoft doesn't want to get this included in Game Pass Ultimate because of the ABK deal. They want to say, hey, see, we're allowing Ubisoft to put their full-fledged subscription service on our, on our ecosystem with no strings attached, and we're going to allow other people to do it too, right?
The weird thing is, though, they force
Yeah.
you into the PC side of it.
Correct,
It's
the
like,
PC side, and that's what I was just going to read, because we did this last night. Shout out to Wandering Dutch again, who broke it down. This is from Wandering Dutch, by the way. Shout out to Midweek Mix Up over there. Guys are amazing. Dutch put out a tweet that said, if you only have Xbox and don't own a PC, there are only 47 games technically in the service. Most of those are Assassin's Creed titles. If you own a gaming PC, there are an additional 169 games. If you are a console-only player, the $18 a month for 47 historic games is insane. And he's right.
and some of those are in Game Pass. Like at least 4 or 5 of them are in
Right.
Game Pass already.
They are. I went through the list last night, and again, it's Ubisoft, so they're my fast food. I own a ton of their games because they go on sale.
Yeah.
That's the other point.
Yeah.
They're on sale
A month
30
later.
to 60 days later.
Yeah.
You can get them for $30. And if you really don't have FOMO like me, like I got Assassin's Creed Origins, the complete game with all the DLC for what? I think it was $13. No, $15, I think, on sale. When I picked it up finally. Listen, that doesn't make any sense. That's, again, they're going to have to change how they do this some way, because like Jasper just said, forcing you as a console only player to also subscribe to that other I forget what it's called, man. Again, you just said it last night. I forgot it again. Whatever the other piece is, because normally
Multi-access.
Yeah, multi-access. Thank
multi-access.
you. Multiverse is what I should remember it as. Multi-access. To have console only players have to do that, because normally, for folks who don't know, this is $15 a month over on PC, right? That's all it is.
It's like going to a gas station and you
Yeah.
put gas in, but you also have to buy diesel.
Right.
Yeah, and PC they has
yeah.
like 3 times as many games.
Correct. That's what I just said. 169 additional games if you're on PC versus 46 on console. And yeah, I went through it last night. I pulled it up to check it out and go through the list. And mine was like owned.
Yeah.
Owned.
Well, because
download now.
Even more insane than
Yeah.
this going on sale 30 to 60 days later. Like if a game is a year or two later for Ubisoft, you see these deals sometimes it's like 85, 90% off.
That's what I just said. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes, it's
like
crazy.
I get a lot of these older games sometimes just because like fuck, no reason not to buy this. You know what I mean? I get to own it forever digitally. You know what I mean?
And you get the deluxe edition sometimes too for like $17, so you get all the DLC.
That's what I always do is I wait until they drop below $20 for the gold or their ultimate editions.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time. Right now, Wildlands, the one game that I don't own because I had borrowed it back in the day that I've wanted to go back to again, even though it doesn't have a 60 frames patch, which is weird. Come on, Ubisoft, you do it for all your other games. Do it for Wildlands. But that ultimate edition, which is normally over $100, I can get it right now for $18. So why? That doesn't make any sense for me to pick up Ubisoft Plus and not own it. I can own the whole damn thing. So,
Also, one of their major games coming out this year, X-Defiant, is free to play. So you don't need it.
Play, and Skull and Bones is probably wind up being free to play eventually, anyways. So no, I'm not going to detract though. I'd rather have the option be there for people who don't, care or have expendable cash and just will sign up for it. I'd rather the option be there, even though it took over a year to get here since they announced it. I still say that this is a good thing that it's actually available and an option, even if we don't think it's valuable. There's going to be people out there who do. I just don't think Ubisoft is going to see the increase in subscribers like they, probably hoped or planned for. Because again, $18 for Ubisoft Plus for 47 games versus $15 for Game Pass Ultimate for 100 and some games. I mean, the value it doesn't line up unless you're a Ubisoft super fan and don't own any
never
other
played a
games.
Ubisoft game.
Right. Exactly. You're brand new. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird. That's why I think down the road, I think there's more in play here. We know, that there was probably talks involved in this. Down the road, I think I see some kind of break for Game Pass Ultimate subscribers where it does chop it down to $5,
or maybe at least a Game Pass perk for like a couple free months or something.
The one thing that Ubisoft Plus could be doing is if they're going to allow you to buy Ubisoft Plus on Xbox with that multi-access plan, but they launch Ubisoft Plus on Nintendo, PlayStation, so you can get all the ecosystems for $18 a month. That would add more value to it, but it's still, if you only play on one platform, it's not really worth it.
Right. But no, it's a good shout out. They could be working towards something like that for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, and this is not Xbox's fault for this pricing. This is like a Ubisoft thing, right?
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
so I'm not
absolutely
I'm not
No.
criticizing Xbox here for this. I'm just saying like Ubisoft is a little bit. I think that Ubisoft made a mistake with this, because, and on one hand, they need cash right now badly, right? And so launching a service like this is great, but I think they missed the boat on a potential buttload of new customers, right? That it would have
Yeah.
had a recurring revenue for them. That was money that they wouldn't have even had coming in anyway, right? So I know they're more forward thinking with this deal and trying to think, well, we're gonna have all these games at some point. You know what I mean? They don't want to go up on it later, but maybe you should have, not kind of envisioned your subscription to something that is more enticing. Because for a subscription model to succeed, it's based on the amount of users you get, right? And if it's not that, then it's just an option,
Reoccurring
and yeah, exactly. Just a
Not-
little bit option that some people are going to do, some people aren't. But these companies are starting to do this more. I liked what EA did originally, doing the EA deal with Game Pass. It caused Game Pass Ultimate to be a thing where it was a little bit more, but then you got EA Play in there at later. Then you got the cloud, you got PC Game Pass as part of it, all these kind of things. So I know you still get Ubisoft games in Game Pass, a lot of them, regardless. Some of the back catalog, but an added on extra feature there for Game Pass would have been the best route, because all of a sudden you have 30 million Game
I don't think
Pass
that would have been the
subscribers.
best route. I think the best route would have been pricing it at like a more reasonable price.
You don't think having a perk or like an incentive for Game Pass users to subscribe would be good?
Game Pass could offer like a free 1-month trial, I think, but I don't think you want to force Game Pass users into something that they may not want.
Well, it wouldn't be a forcing; it'd be an option, right?
No,
like,
Matt's
and-
just talking about subsidized. So,
Yeah.
like, hey, you can get Game Pass Ultimate for $15 a month, or you can do plus $5, plus $10 and you can add
Right.
Ubisoft
Oh,
Plus.
okay. I
It'd
thought
be
you were
like an
saying like
add-on.
they force it into Game Pass. And
No,
say,
no, no, no,
no,
no.
no.
That'd be like a
No.
carrot, like, hey, if you want to add this subscription service to your existing service, right? You're paying a little bit extra, because if you look at the value, if I'm a consumer and I'm looking at Game Pass, I'm going to sign up to Game Pass Ultimate, get all this stuff. Then I'm like, what? The Ubisoft thing is more, and I get this much way less. It doesn't add up, right? So I think having a carrot there for Game Pass subscribers, like, oh, I can just subscribe for a little bit more money and I get all these other games, would have been a smarter way to try and grab a lot more users, right? And maybe they would have had to make a deal with Xbox to have some cash put in their hands as well.
Subsidized, yeah.
But it didn't happen. 3-Bit, you got any thoughts on this?
Can you talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, my whole thought is I don't think it's worth it yet. Maybe when they have like the newer Ubisoft titles, maybe that will give some people better incentive. But the price of a lot of Ubisoft games are pretty cheap to begin with. So, a subscription service would basically be more expensive in some ways for some people if they're looking at it that way. But I don't really see a huge benefit to the service yet. But maybe when there is the newer titles, that would give decent incentive. But right now, I don't. It's not for me.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Right. The other thing, Mav, as we talked about last night, I wish EA would add their Plus service as an add-on too, so we could get day and date games just like they do on PC.
Right.
I can't believe they haven't done that yet. I really can't. It'd be so huge.
Yeah,
A lot of people would sign up
that
for
makes so much sense. I would be a
Yeah. subscriber
for that, because
Yeah,
it would say
so would
the second EA Play hit in general, I was like down, because
Yeah.
it would save me money because of the discount.
Right.
Like, just with that, I save more.
I think
save
there's
more money
a weird thing
discount.
why EA doesn't do that is because they go for, I think EA has some third party stuff in that pro plan. So maybe
They
they
do.
Yeah, I think so. So like maybe that's why they can't do it on Xbox, because Xbox may
They
already
could
have
do a
those
different
third-party
version,
deals or
like
Yeah,
something.
Ubisoft's
yeah, they
doing
could.
that.
Yeah, for sure. They could just pull those. I mean, it would be
Yeah.
no, it would be no big deal. I mean, you just make it a, you know, Game Pass Pro edition of EA Play,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whatever, whatever you do.
I think eventually we see some
curated
of this
list.
stuff happen,
Yeah.
right? I do really do. I mean, we'll see more of these eventually.
Absolutely. Again, we've said it before, Mav. Amazon Prime is the perfect example of what we believe that Xbox is going for with this ecosystem eventually.
Yeah.
Where you're going to walk into the ecosystem and there's going to be everybody else's subscription services right there that you can just sign up for and access your games wherever you play them at. And that's eventually what's going to happen.
For sure. We've got a couple super chats to get to, everybody. Again, appreciate the chat. If you do like the content here, hit the like button, share out, subscribe to the channel, and all that cool stuff. Appreciate you for being here. A notification bell is a great way to find out when we're live as well. Shout out to Game Buffet hitting us with the $5 super chat. I've grown tired of being told big first-party games are coming. Don Matrick brought us more exclusives than Phil. Xbox is treated like an afterthought now. They're coming. Yeah, they're coming. Promise.
This is the last year. We said that last year. It was like this 2023 has to be the year where a lot of that stuff is starting to turn around.
It doesn't. Doesn't help when the first big one is 30 frames though.
Yeah, that doesn't help. I do see like a lot of almost these PlayStation content creators kind of just being like, Xbox is dead now. They lost the war, and I'm like, no, I'm still very optimistic of like different games coming out this year for Xbox. I am disappointed with how they've been delivering it, the marketing side of things. Especially like last year was probably the worst year for Xbox in terms of delivering first party titles. But yeah, I mean, 2023, I'm still optimistic for this year, and like it's still the domino year for these titles. Redfall still coming out, despite what my grievances with it. we had a whole show about what I thought about Redfall. But I'm still despite all that, I'm still 2023 in general is an amazing year for gaming. There's so many games coming out this year in general, so I'm looking at it from that aspect as well. It's insane. Like there's almost too much. Let's say like Redfall, like you were looking forward to Redfall, et cetera, et cetera. There's still so many other games I was looking forward to besides Redfall coming out this year that it's almost overwhelming. I'm like almost happy that I'm like, okay, I'll wait for Redfall just because of all the other games that are coming out. Like that's kind of how I'm looking at it. It's just like my backlog is already insane. I'm still finishing up certain games like Hogwarts and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a great year for gaming in general, and I'm despite everything that I want Xbox to do better. I want them to be better with marketing. I want them to, when you release an Xbox title, you have certain expectations for said title, like Redfall, like. This is a quality thing. Like when you have a PlayStation title, there's certain things you expect as a PlayStation gamer with that game. Same thing with Xbox. So with games like Redfall, I expect a certain threshold for quality in that game for console gamers. I know like you're starting to venture out into PC and other platforms, but console still is your main player base, and where you kind of started from. Like there should be no reason why Minecraft runs better on PlayStation. I know I keep bringing it up, but I'm just like, why? why is Minecraft run better on your competitor's platform, the one that's basically trying to get your $70 billion deal shut down? I don't know. But
to To jump back to the EA thing real quick, I looked it up. EA doesn't offer third-party stuff, but they do offer EA Play on Steam, but it's only the EA Play just basic edition. It's like the Xbox version. So it's weird that they don't even offer Pro on Steam and it's on PC.
Right.
So I think maybe EA's just trying to get you to jump into their ecosystem,
Sure,
I guess.
obviously.
Yeah.
Which is
I just found that
miserably.
weird.
That is weird. That's very strange. I did not know that. Good call.
I appreciate that super chat, Game Buffet. But one thing I can think everybody on this panel agrees with is that we do not miss the Don Matrick era whatsoever. And the position that we're still been in to this day is primarily because of the fallout from his era. Even though he
I
did
can't agree with that.
You can't agree with that? Why not, baby?
I don't know who the fuck that is.
It's Donnie D.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he had some deals going into the first party of or first party games and third party deals leading into the first couple of years of Xbox One generation, which was great.
We got some of the best exclusives, Connectimals.
But he also decimated the studios and relied on those third party deals, and also focused all on the TV stuff. And when that shit didn't hit, we were left with what we were left with. So now Phil's grown it back to how many studios we at now? 23 plus ABK coming in. We got like plus 40 games in development and projects in the works that are from first party developers and stuff like that. So I'm much more on board with Phil, even though we've had to wait,
And now we're getting back into the TV stuff.
And everybody
I like the snap feature.
Everybody forgets that Xbox benefited heavily from PlayStation's screw ups back then.
Yeah, they did. $699, whatever the shit that was.
The cell processor, which developers absolutely despised for the first 3 years of that console's life.
Their infrastructure for their internet connection and stuff was bad.
All that sucked. All of it sucked, and it all led to Xbox being able to cut deals, and because developers weren't going to be doing anything on the cell processor anyways, they were like, yeah, no, thanks anyways. So a lot of that was a benefit because of Sony too, but I understand the sentiment for sure, because again, I was, was raising a family at that point in the 360 era. So I've been through that and I know how good it was and what a time it was. But if I was Phil, I would certainly be cutting more third-party deals. I'd be like Sony in a lot of ways and be cutthroat. But as Mav said, these are the aftershocks. Phil's had to save a sinking ship that was literally sinking to the point that they were going to let it go to the bottom of the ocean and be done with gaming. And he's had to bring it all the way back. So a lot of the struggles, you throw in all the other stuff that we already know about the pandemic and all that kind of stuff that happened to, which nobody could plan for. The struggles that we've seen and are still seeing in a lot of ways is because of how big a turnaround this actually has been. Again, if you watch businesses, especially billion, trillion dollar businesses, turning ships around on a dime never happens. Like it's so rare because it takes so long to get everybody on board that Phil has done an admirable job.
Yeah.
Getting this to this point now and selling enough people to get it to here, because we're watching Sony right now have a hard time turning around their whole business model. Because again, they get pushback from the board, they get pushback from shareholders, all that kind of stuff. So again, shout out to Phil and everything he's done. And we're getting to that point. Yeah. I think we're all sick of just wait longer. Yeah. We've all expressed that, but we're almost through it. We can see, at least for me personally, maybe not you, but for me personally, I can see the end of the tunnel. I can see it.
And I can, there's sentiment too. Like there's some criticism here and there, because ultimately Phil's the big guy, right? And when things don't go well at times, it's who's the top guy. It's him. So ultimately you can look at what needs to be done. But I think ultimately he's been the best executive Microsoft's ever had, in charge of their gaming division, and they're getting so big so fast that that's part of a lot of the problems they have. Matt Booty is in control of way too many studios, in my opinion.
And that's a fair criticism too.
Yeah. Then you have Bethesda. ZeniMax has its own issues apparently now because of that 30 frames thing with Redfall, right? You have ABK is coming on board. How's that all gonna unfold, right? So maybe at times Phil's a little bit too loyal, right, to some people on other executives that he has. Maybe at times he doesn't want to make some of the tougher decisions or have as much of a cutthroat, buckle down approach at times when he may need to. But still, those are like, it's hard to like argue against being a good person. You know what I mean? That's why I get that. And it's hard for me to say I would have done things a lot differently. Patience has been something that we've all had as Xbox gamers for a while now. We've had to, you know what I mean? And we've been singing the praises for this for a long time, though. We're all paying off for it. We're all benefiting for it. Like the Game Pass thing is by far the best thing in gaming history as far as value goes. Of the amount of stuff we get and games we get to play, and it's gotten so good now where there's expectations that we just assume are going to be there that used to be huge deals, right? Again, I say this like I'm the third year now of playing MLB The Show in Game Pass day one. This is a game I used to buy a fucking PlayStation for, you know, to play because I loved it so much. And it was a huge deal when it was the first year, but now nobody even talks about it when it's coming out, right? It's like, oh, this MLB The Show. It's the expectation, right? Game Pass has gotten so damn good that we're just used to big third-party games occasionally getting announced for Game Pass day one. There's so much amazing stuff that he's done that we do take for granted a little bit as well. So as far as that goes, yeah, Phil's definitely on the right track here. But when things happen like Redfall launching at 30 frames, it's like it deserves criticism. When things happen like the 12-month showcase and stuff like that, and little things like this here and there, right? Marketing kind of stuff, you know, like having your pulse a little bit more with like understanding the gaming audience a little bit better, right? And what makes them tick with news and things like that could be a little bit better. But ultimately, I'm super happy with the direction of Xbox, and it's
it
gonna
could just be
it's gonna be
communication
amazing.
up to his level. Like maybe people are telling him things that just like a yes man, and they're not actually telling him what's going on. They're just like, yeah. We're working. It's looking good, but it's like, is it though? Like maybe he's getting wrong information there.
Yeah, you just
those
never
decisions.
know. You just never know, Jasper. You don't internally. We'll never know what. Maybe Phil behind the scenes is Dark Phil, and his emails are like
he's like
fire. Like he's just ripping people new assholes.
He's like
Major
step it up,
Major Nelson,
Major,
get your
you're
shit
gone.
together. Otherwise, you're out of
You
here.
need a new podcast tonight.
I saw your latest episode of Inside Xbox, Larry, and if it's not better next week, you're fucking gone. You're an idiot sandwich. He could be fucking Gordon Ramsay behind the scenes.
Yeah, he could be behind the scenes. We don't know. But with companies this big, again, the fact that Phil got Satya, the head man, to listen, that's the only reason why we're here even celebrating as much as we do with Xbox, is because he got the head man who could pull together everybody else or force everybody else, if they had any objections, to get on the same page.
First
But
time
the
Microsoft and Xbox are
Yes, 1-1. But the first time that Xbox has been a pillar within Microsoft Corporation and not just a afterthought like, oh, that's cute, you guys keep doing your thing over there. It's now a pillar, and that's the only reason why we're even talking about this stuff right now. But again, the day-to-day stuff is what Jasper's kind of talking about, like the day-to-day activities and how all that works. If anybody has worked for any type of size of corporation, even smaller companies where you have middle people involved, like things get lost and things don't get translated properly, and it's a telephone game still happens even in corporate world, where one person says one thing and by the time it gets to the boss, it's completely different than how it started out, and now you got a whole nother set of problems. So that stuff still could be happening there. But last thing I'll say is that Microsoft is single-handedly bringing back RTSs and strategy games to consoles. So forever I owe Phil a round of applause for that one.
Absolutely. Yes, that's
where he started. He started on Rise of Nations, I think.
Yep. Absolutely.
Shout out to Chris Jones with the $5 super chat. Said, I pay for Game Pass Ultimate PS service. He's so confused. He doesn't even know which PS service he subscribes to because PlayStation services are confusing. I pay for Game Pass Ultimate PS service and Nintendo Online, so I won't be subscribing to any other service. Hell, a lady at work pays for my Elder Scrolls Online Plus. Well, how'd you work that out?
Whoa,
Chris?
whoa, we
What
got
are you-
we got a sugar mama.
You doing favors at work for Elder Scrolls
Oh.
Online? What's going on
Nice.
there, Chris?
Nothing wrong with sugar mama.
We need some information. Like he's like, hey,
just drop that
pay
and
for
not
my
explain.
Elder Scrolls Online. How'd you work out that deal?
Hey, Caitlin, will you start paying for my Elder Scrolls Online?
Sure, babe.
That's husband to you. That's
And she won't let me get Ubisoft Plus.
How much is the Elder Scrolls thing?
$15 a month.
We can work it out.
Okay.
Oh my God. What's happening? What's happening?
We'll just take it out of Matt's animal cracker
exactly.
budget.
Yep.
Is that where
Yeah,
my animal
take it out there.
crackers have been? Is fucking Elder
Yep,
Scrolls
that's the
Online
budget.
for Pong?
Sorry.
Not gonna say anything.
we had to cut down the budget for animal crackers.
So he can hit
Sorry.
level 76. I don't get to get my fucking animal crackers. What's going on?
Get
Come
more
on.
than that. I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm kidding.
30 frames.
Shout out to Dirt Griggity Weebly Green host, amazing podcaster, with a very generous $10 super chat. Said Xbox clearly stopped making first-party games besides Halo, Gears, and Forza second half of last gen. Absolutely, they were only down to what, 6 studios, I think.
Five.
Five. I don't fucking. It's crazy. It's been taking forever, but like Pong said, we're almost there. Avalanche of games. Yes, it's happening, everybody.
Absolutely.
It is happening. But just wait.
Yep. Shout out to Dirt,
No, it's
by the way.
happening this year.
Great show,
Are you still
Dirt, by the
waiting?
way. You and Sean today. Talk that shit. TTS,
Yeah.
baby. Good show.
Yeah,
Good
it
show.
is happening this year. I mean, we're getting a
It is.
deluge of games. First party games so far. Age 2. We got
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. We're getting
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Minecraft Legends.
next
We're about to
week.
talk about Minecraft Legends. Minecraft Legends.
Oh, yeah.
We got Redfall. Ghostwire Tokyo. We got Starfield coming. Forza Motorsport.
Potential.
Age of Empires
Hellblade
4 is coming as well this year. And yeah,
Hellblade's probably next year.
maybe
Think so now?
Aura hits still on PC this year.
3-bit, you know
Uh,
something? Is that a smirk?
What did you say? I
That
missed
is-
it.
he said
I don't know.
Hellblade's next
2's
year.
name.
It's probably next year.
Oh, probably.
Woo,
Did
he
you just
gave the
add in
smirk.
that word?
He just gave the smirk, Bill. We know the poker face. Oh,
Unless,
I don't know. No, that's
Hey,
I'm just guessing.
yeah, I don't know nothing. I've
Hey.
just been watching.
I
people
just
play
met with the
Starfield.
director at Hellblade Studios over there, so you know.
hey, 3-bit, can you make a straight face real quick? I wanted to see something. Just try and make a straight face. No, just let's see. I'm asking. Just do your poker face, your best poker face. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
Yeah. Calm
Okay.
down. I know you're happy inside right now, but you gotta. You cool? All right, here we go. January, February. Stop. Start again. Hold on. Okay.
all right.
All right. Hold on.
Count on my acting. All right.
January, February, March.
It's gonna be early, folks. All right.
Early 2024, everybody. He couldn't get past March. It's hopefully by March. Let's go.
Shoot.
Thanks, Dirt, for that super chat, man. I appreciate it, dude. Keep up the great work over there at WBG and TTS. Let's go.
Right.
I've seen
Dirk-
Dirk a lot with Attic too on the Attic show. Over there.
And he's gonna be on the
Ironwood.
Shop podcast on Saturday night.
Ooh, is he? That's gonna
Yeah,
be
we got
juicy.
we got Dirt. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, Dirt. Hey, Dirt. Speaking of Minecraft Legends, it has reviews have started hitting today for Minecraft Legends. Mixed reviews, some good ones, some not so great ones. I don't think any of us expected this to be a 95 on Meta, anything like that. But it is a first-party game that some of us are looking forward to. I'm looking forward to giving it a go because it's a strategy game, right? Just to check it out. Sitting at a 73 right now, but there are a lot of positives as well. Daily Star even gave it a perfect score, which maybe they absolutely love it. But you got reviews all over the place on this thing. You got 70s, you got 60s, 50s, 80s, and
PC's at a 68, so
90.
the average is about 70.
Yeah, it's actually 74 now, based on 25 reviews. So Seems like a solid title that maybe kind of a lot of people may not even really thinking about. But we'll get to play this on the 18th is when its release date is. So looking forward to it. There's been a lot of positive conversation about people that have given it a go. I think Jez mentioned that he liked it as well. Did I see that today on Twitter?
Yeah.
So cool. I'm looking forward to giving it. Strategy games hitting the Xbox is always a great thing for me. Anybody here also looking forward to playing Minecraft?
Oh, you
Legend?
already know, bro. You already know.
Yeah, we're gonna have some. Supposedly it comes alive with the multiplayer.
I think they said it's 3-player multiplayer, so like you can have 3 on each team. I think so.
Yeah, 3-on-3. I believe that's what they showcased. They're doing the direct. Listen, for a Minecraft game that's a spin-off, that's a RTS light. I didn't expect this thing to have like 80s, 90s reviews. It's not going to be for everybody by any stretch of the imagination at all. But what I've heard, at least what people have described, even some of the iffy reviews, what they've described, I'm like, oh, well, that sounds kind of cool to me. I mean, let's go. If it's a light version of RTS, I know some people are complaining you can't pull back the camera far enough. You got to be close to your mobs to direct them.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So I have heard a couple people say the UI is kind of clunky when you're trying to control the mobs. We'll see how that goes. As we all know, Mav, for people who haven't played RTSs on consoles a lot of the time with controller, the initial setup and first hour or two can sometimes be a little jarring when it comes to controls, but generally speaking, you get them down after that point. So I think maybe there's just some people out there who aren't used to doing RTS controls on a controller, and so they're finding it hard, which I understand. So I can't wait to jump in, man. I think we're gonna have a good time with it.
Yeah,
and I think also some of that negative kind of comes the opposite way, whereas like more people wanted more like RTS strategy elements, and it's more casual because it's Minecraft and they're trying to appeal to a kid.
No, there was some of those reviews too. Good point.
You got to imagine that this game might attract a lot of like younger audience as well. Minecraft is the biggest game out there, right? So a lot of these kids and people that are playing are just going to play it because it's fucking Minecraft. Like just going to launch it because it says Minecraft on it. So I think they've got to try and make it somewhat welcoming as well, right? And maybe this is a huge thing that takes off that none of us really saw coming. Games like this sometimes will surprise you, right? So I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Chris Jones with the $2 super chat said, "I'm single, so I have a sugar mama till I'm not." LOL. So you got your sugar mama till. So when you get a girlfriend or whatever, Chris, the first thing she's gonna find out about is your sugar mama paying for your Elder Scrolls Online. She's like, who's paying for this? I don't see it on your credit card receipts. I don't see who's paying for this, Chris. Splendiferous with the $2 super chat says, "No one looks sleepy tonight. The guy bottom left iffy." Shout out to Splend. When does 3-Bit not look sleepy?
I always look sleepy.
Yeah, if you try and game with him late on a Friday night, you will get
snores.
One of two things will happen. About 10 minutes in, or while he's installing the game that you're trying to play.
I was just going to say that, yes.
After he spends 30 minutes trying to figure out how to download
After he knew all day we were going to play this game, he will start installing 10 minutes after we've already started, and then he will fall asleep before it finishes. That's one thing that happens. The other thing that happens is 3-Bit starts playing, and he gets drunk and starts looking at the sky and shooting at you and your teammates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Team kills are big when 3-Bit is drunk.
And if you enter a tournament with 3-Bit hoping he's going to carry you, he will do drugs for the first time.
Yes, he will do illicit drugs for the first time.
For the first time, he will experiment with edibles when you're relying on him as your team captain.
Hey, we did get the first few rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were all like, 3-Bit, what's going on?
Yeah.
You were just laughing.
I was like, where's our captain? Anyway.
They're not wrong.
I was 3 months later. That's where your captain was.
And $2 super chat from Alvin. Appreciate you, Alvin. Said ACG and SkillUp both like it better than the journalistic opinions out there. So shout out to them. Two great reviewers. I'm gonna give it a go. Right?
No, I'm definitely giving it a go. This is right up our alley, man. We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
Phasma, member for 17 months, says,
What's up, Phaz?
I don't hate Halo. I don't hate Halo either. I don't think any of us hate Halo. We're
Have you ever played a
Halo's
Minecraft,
amazing.
Pong?
Huh?
Have you ever played Minecraft, Pong?
No, like plain
Okay.
old Minecraft. No,
Yeah.
my kid used. Have I sat down with my kid when he was
Yeah.
little and played? Yeah, I played around with it, but yeah, no.
I just didn't know if like this was going to be your first experience in like the Minecraft.
No, I did Minecraft Dungeons. So
Oh, okay.
I did play Minecraft Dungeons quite a bit. I put like 30 hours or something like that in the Minecraft.
Yeah.
Dungeon, so.
Speaking of hours, did y'all get y'all's Diablo stats and emails?
Yep.
What are y'all looking on your stats? I'm curious how we measure up.
32. Whoa, we're gonna slap it out on the table. Got the ruler.
I don't know if we want to do that. I don't want to embarrass everybody here.
Do it.
You can see how your husbands measure up, babe.
I need to see
You
whose
should-
night it is tonight.
Oh my god. So I had 24 hours, 37 story quests, 7,208 monsters. I got 1,116 renown, 266,293 gold, 23 dungeons, and I died 24 times.
So what I've noticed is like out of like looking at multiple people's, I noticed my playtime is a lot shorter, but my gold is really high. So I don't know if like I was just
Were
getting
you
gold.
just have sex trafficking out there or something in the Diablo world, Jasper? What's going on?
But I had 23 hours, 60 story quests, 11,700 monsters, 1,600 or almost 1,700 renown, 621,000 gold and 30
You
dungeons.
had over twice as much gold as I had. How many hours
Yeah.
did you have again?
23.
So you had less hours and over twice as much gold
Yeah.
that I had, and you had 1,700 renown, and I had 11. I suck.
How much gold did you have, Jasper?
621,000.
Yeah, you had like crazy because I had 32 hours, 19 story quests, 7,100, 7,130 monsters, 668 renown, 278,872 gold, and 28 dungeons.
Yeah.
And I died 64 times.
Our numbers are more in line, Pong. A little bit. 3-bit played for like 5 minutes, I think. So
Maybe
um,
he was trying to install it.
So what that tells me is when Mav needs money to go buy a new loadout for the 20th time, I'll be his gold man.
Yes. Yeah, you must have been selling. Maybe you sold. Did you sell everything, or were you breaking down?
I was breaking down to try to get like transmog stuff, so I don't know.
That's what
like,
I thought. Yeah. Weird.
interesting.
You were the hoarder.
Yeah. It's going around. Maybe you stole our gold secretly. This is like a hack.
You know what is
look
cool
up mine.
though is that Blizzard's transparency through this whole entire process with Diablo 4. I got to give them a shout.
Yeah,
out.
they
Talk
just
about
posted that update for
Yeah,
everything coming at launch,
the
right?
update that they're gonna do. Again, talk about a company coming back. Again, Blizzard's never been gone, but obviously we know Blizzard's gone through their down years recently. Talk about a company refining itself again. And with Diablo 4, we talk about this all the time, how we want updates from games and all that kind of stuff. This whole Diablo 4 process leading up to launch has been nothing but phenomenal from them. They've got another dev diary or dev, whatever you want to call it, direct at this point. I like direct as the name. Whatever you're going to want to call it, on April 20th, where they're going to go into detail about what they're doing. But to put out all these stats and then give us, hey, we listened to your feedback. This is the feedback. Here's the breakdown. Even giving us class updates at this point leading up to launch in June is kind of crazy. Like, this is the stuff you don't normally see. But I got to give a shout out to Blizzard for what they're doing over there. Ferguson and his team are doing phenomenal with this launch. It's going to be one of the biggest games this year. I've said it. I think it's going to be the biggest game this year, sales-wise. And so they're just doing a great job over there.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
And shout out to Psycho, who couldn't be here tonight. But he did give us his stats in our DM.
Yeah, he played triple the amount of hours that I did.
Did he
and
sleep at all when the beta was out?
No,
But
he was
I-
on 24.
he only got 200,000 more gold than me, and he played 3 times as much. That doesn't make
Jasper,
sense.
what are you doing?
So Psycho, how long did the beta go for? 3 days? 4 days? 3 days?
Uh,
Or is this both weekends?
it was both. It counts. As both
This is
weekends.
both weekends.
Okay,
if you were a part
so-
of both weekends, this is both. Yeah.
Okay, so in 6 days, he played for 65 hours, completed 90 story quests,
11 hours a day.
17,453 monsters, 1,925 renown, 871,000 gold, and 47 dungeons. And he died 38 times. That is putting in the work.
Yep.
And he's only finished with about a 70 skill in economy.
He was still building
but he
walls.
got 4 houses built.
Yeah, he was building walls. And turrets.
That's
For anybody who
amazing.
doesn't understand, that's our shade we throw Psycho's way for Age of Empires 2.
His military score. Sorry, not his economy. He's usually good on economy, low on the military.
Yeah, the military is all.
He builds stuff. He just forgets to put out the soldiers. That's all it
We're
is.
we're
right?
all over 1,000, and there's Psycho at 70.
I'm sitting here trying to defend 4 different people's bases. He's like, hold on, I'm going to build a house.
Psycho's
God,
great.
it's
Love
great.
you, man.
Here, I got my 2 catapults coming.
They're gonna do wonders. He's a strategic specialist. Maybe he just gets that one unit that just
We had
causes
so many
massive
laughs.
havoc.
And
right?
so many laughs. Oh my god.
We need to play that again soon. I'm
Yeah, we do.
Itching
We do.
bad for some RTS. Company Heroes 3 is coming on May 30th.
May 30th,
Everybody.
everybody. Console. Woo!
Hoping
Can't
it's a
wait.
Game Pass
World War
game.
II RTS. It's gonna get sweaty up in there. Don't let me get those tiger tanks on you, boys. It'll be bad.
Hey, there's some other news some pretty substantial news, in my opinion. Pong was making a joke in the DMs earlier about this. Xbox is not done with their acquisitions right now, while they are still under the ABK microscope, because is it Rovio, the creators of Angry Birds and more mobile, are getting acquired by future acquisition Sega. So Sega acquired Rovio, or they're supposedly acquiring them. They're in like final discussions for like $1 billion acquisition or whatever. And Angry Birds mobile creator, Rovio, would be part of Sega. It's a big deal, I think.
It is,
right?
Yeah.
No, not ABK sized, but this is big for Sega.
But
Interesting.
my
It would
worry
be
about
big
that
for
is,
Xbox.
though, is depending on how far along they are. Like, if this slipped out too soon, they may have to back out of that deal.
You think?
Because that's kind of what happened with Xbox and Toonami. That started spreading, and then they had was like, we can't do it anymore because there would be insider trading shit going on.
Right. But
I mean, when you start a deal, you have like an intent to purchase, that you pretty much display before everything happens, and then
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, if you knew this was going to go through, like, you could just go buy a bunch of fucking Angry Bird, whatever company stock right now, and then because you'd be getting a payday. That's why they have to be careful with, like, depending on how far along they are.
That's
why public acquisitions are tricky.
Is Rovio public?
I don't know. That
I'm sure
could
it's
change
public.
things.
Yeah, I would assume it is a mobile game creator. Like that. But who knows? It could be private.
Rovio did 317.7 million euros last year. In profit, in revenue, I should say, in revenue.
Yeah,
and only 3.5% of it was licensing. So the rest was their games. So again, just like Candy Crush, nobody thinks about Angry Birds anymore, but Rovio's out here still making oodles of money. Like, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. That's why mobile's so big.
Sega's interested in getting more into the mobile space, right? What is Xbox interested in and stuff is more mobile as well.
So all of a sudden, Sega is now mobile, PC, and console as well.
Right.
Like ABK. Interesting.
Yeah. And they're putting more their properties like like Atlas for years. I'm pretty sure they're like Atlas list. Start putting the games on Xbox. Because for a while they're like, we don't want to.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't think they had a reason. They're just like, we don't want to.
No, they let Atlas run autonomously, a lot like ZeniMax and Microsoft. That's why, because Atlas just said it's not worth our time. But finally, and we talked about this, that was part of that big deal that everybody said, oh, it's not going to matter. It's just them helping out with the server side of things in the cloud and all that kind of stuff. We were like, nah, there's going to be special benefits. All of a sudden, Atlas is like, oh, every Persona game is now coming to Xbox. Congratulations, out of the blue. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a partnership.
The cloud deal, all that stuff was a big thing. We've seen Game Pass games day one and more and stuff like that. I do think Sega would be a great fit for Xbox acquisition wise, because that would automatically help their identity problem in the East, right? You just market yourself as Sega pretty much there. It's like,
Yeah, you let them stay Sega. Call them Xbox East Sega or whatever you want to do, but just keep Sega.
What if they even like
Sega
named the
X.
box, say, you know what I mean, instead of Xbox
Over
Series
there.
X, like Sega Series.
People have
X,
joked
Sega
about
X.
that, like the Dreamcast X.
Yeah,
just rebrand it. Like it would probably do crazy numbers over there if they did that. Honestly,
That'd be pretty cool.
Comparative. Not saying all of a sudden they're going to dominate, folks. Don't get me wrong, but it would be a big boon to them to do something like that. It really would. It'd be crazy, but it'd be cool.
Yeah,
I want a Dreamcast X. Can you imagine if they did that? That'd be so cool.
God,
I love the Dreamcast.
Bring back the VMUs. It's that way they could do what Sony's doing with the controllers with the screen.
Right.
That's the second. Forgot about that. That's Sony's thing with the whole fucking controller thing. Really, I guess the VMU was the first very simplistic entry into that. I mean, obviously that screen was not for playing games on.
Well, I mean, Nintendo kind of did that sort of they called the Famicom over there, and there's the NES over here. So
NES,
it's not
names. Yeah, it's not.
Yes,
great.
It's not out of the world that they could do something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. If they acquired it, it would make a lot of sense. I mean, it would help them. Sega Game Pass. Sega Pass. Subscribe to Sega Pass. Playing the Sega Cloud.
The Sega Cloud.
What if what if the acquisition was in a way where it primarily focused on that, and the West just was ran par for the course, and still just multi-platform and all that kind of stuff.
And I think that's pretty much what would happen for the most part, right? So it would make total sense. Again, it's just getting a foothold over there is the main thing. That's all it is getting some big presence. They're trying, they're building, but you can't get that instantaneous foothold without making a big acquisition. And Sega makes the absolute most sense. Yes, there are other companies I would rather have, Bandai Namco, etc. But Sega, at the end of the day, being an old Sega fan, I'd love to see it. And
they also publish a lot of Western games over there. So I know WB goes to them a lot for their games to get published in the East. So I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense. All of that stuff. The business models now more aligned than ever before. All that stuff would just, and like I said, who knows? But this was kind of funny that Sega all of a sudden is picking up a big mobile.
Yeah. That would be good for Xbox. I mean, if timing would be pretty good.
Did you also
put on notice? We constantly talk about which company is Xbox going to acquire after ABK, and Sega keeps being kind of brought up in the conversation just based on their relationship with Microsoft, seemingly pretty good. But only time will tell.
As I say, it was interesting you bring that up though, because Last Stand Media, Colin Moriarty had his show, Sacred Symbols, and he had Hogue Law on for an episode or whatever. And while Colin was ranting and worrying about gaming consolidation and how Microsoft's going to become a gaming monopoly and all that stuff, he asked Hogue if he could see any acquisitions in Microsoft's future of a publisher size like that, and Hogue was like, yeah, I could see it for sure. And I think that Microsoft's even kind of put it out there. I don't think they're done with that. So you think 3-bit, would that be the number one target for them? Would be Sega?
Another in terms of another publisher, would they go after them next, or
at publisher size? Because I think Hogue seemed to think it wouldn't necessarily be that much of a concern. With getting
I think so. In terms of politics too right now, because Japan is sort of being looked at by regulators and stuff. If you guys remember some of the articles that was coming out where where Japan was kind of being scrutinized for the PlayStation deal. They like almost immediately the next day they're like, "Oh no, look, we passed it. We're fine. We're fine with the ABK deal." I think in terms of timing, it'd be decent to try and acquire a Japanese business. I do know Xbox wants a foothold in Japan, and that just be a good thing. In terms of politics, it's good timing because Japan is being looked at, and also it would do another check mark for Microsoft of what they're looking for, which is growing Game Pass, growing in globally. Right now they're getting killed globally. Like here, pretty good. Sometimes they can go 1-1 with PlayStation on some level, not really, but they've been doing pretty well this generation. Last few weeks, months, not too well, but globally was where they need help. And by acquiring a Japanese studio, that would help. that would definitely help quite some bit. Because when you go to Japan, when you go to these other places and you go in a gaming store, what do you see? You don't see Xbox really. You see
hentai action figures.
I mean, yeah, you can see that, but like you see PlayStation and Nintendo for the most part. Nintendo even more so. And then Xbox maybe in a little corner of some of these stores, and it's just because they don't have a lot of Japanese studios. They don't have a lot foothold with a lot of Japanese developers. Now they're trying, they're doing different deals, they're bringing more games to Game Pass where they can, but maybe that is on Phil's mind to acquire. Maybe if they're going to publish one more publisher, or if they were to acquire one more publisher, I would say a Japanese studio makes sense.
Maybe East, 100.
Yeah, it would definitely make sense.
And
I know they're. Yeah.
Go ahead, 3-bit.
No, I was just gonna say last point, that I see them also acquiring a lot of smaller studios for sure. Like maybe a Solo or other, just like smaller developers that they have a relationship with. But if they were going to go for a bigger publisher, it makes sense to acquire someone like Sega. You have other publishers out there where people are like, what about Take-Two? What about Ubisoft? They're on a weird spiral right now. Their studios, in my experience, weren't very well managed. In terms of where they are going, I don't even know where Ubisoft is going. They have pretty good IP that they don't really utilize. They're focusing more so on like trying to make money out of their games rather than it being quality. I don't know. Wherever Ubisoft is going, I'm not interested in, but in terms of Take-Two, I don't know. It just makes more sense for me for it to be Sega. But what do you guys think?
They did just hold a little indie or ID at Xbox event over there. I forgot exactly what country it was, but they flew people from
Malaysia.
Asia. It was in Malaysia, and it hosted developers from all over Southeast Asia.
So they could maybe like, I don't know if they're going to buy like a smaller publisher, but they could also look at all those little devs that they sent out and maybe start buying individual studios over there too. But you would really need a publisher if you're going to start doing all that stuff. So,
well, to throw just a little bit more smoke on this fire, right? Our good buddy Lemon over there, 108 Dragons TV, had tweeted out a few hours back, 5 hours ago. He tweeted out, "Now that's a match made in heaven picture." You know, he added Aaron Greenberg and some people. It's a picture of Knuckles holding an Xbox Series Elite red controller, and Aaron Greenberg did reply with 3 fire emojis. Let's go. Match made in heaven, Aaron. You know it. Aaron's also done some tweets like with Sega type stuff in the past. You know,
remember whenever we was hunting the Sega stuff and they found the influencers on Instagram from Japan that were doing like X symbols and like reading into that. Remember,
right.
all that kind of
the
stuff.
green martinis or whatever as well.
Yes, it was crazy for a while. And the Sonic Blue controller that Xbox put out, they didn't call it Sonic Blue, but it was.
Yeah, it's called Sonic.
Yes, it was crazy. So much stuff. And
Or was it
Sega
Shock
just makes-
Blue? I forget. What
yeah, Shock Blue.
Okay,
Shock
that's
Blue,
right.
I think. But Sega's only got 3,200 employees. Again, something like Ubisoft with over 20,000 employees. It's too much of a mess. There would be so many layoffs. It would be such a ridiculous deal. But Sega's like the perfect size. And again, with Japan on notice now, as much as I hate big government getting involved, I'm still going to be real about it when there's political pressure, right? When there's political pressure, even if it's nonsense, right? It does help. And this, like 3-Bit just got done saying, this is the time. And that's why I said they go east next. I think that maybe a year after ABK closes, you're going to start hearing this stuff again. Maybe sooner. Who knows? Maybe Microsoft's gonna be like, screw it. We got ABK through. It's on. Let's go. We're full steam ahead kind of deal with acquisitions.
I mean, especially with where the economy is going, they know that money's going to be losing value if it just sits there. So, yeah.
Correct. But with 3,200 employees at Sega, it's a perfect fit for them. It's the right size. It wouldn't get, again, they'll instantly come out and say, don't worry, Sonic's still going to come everywhere. Don't worry about that stuff. All that nonsense. They're going to clear that. There's not going to be much pushback if they go after a Sega.
And
really not.
The thought of Microsoft going after a Japanese publisher or platform holder is even not out of the question. If you've watched that Xbox documentary, they talk about it. One of the first things they wanted to do, they went to Nintendo and got laughed out of the room because they mentioned the fact about they wanted to acquire Nintendo, right? And Nintendo's like, get the hell out of here, right?
Right.
Then you also have a potential attempted acquisition of Konami in the past, Capcom as well.
Yep.
So it's definitely not out of the cards or out of the blue to think that they're going that route. Phil, in an interview recently, had said that they're looking, on the other side of the world for future acquisitions and stuff like that. So, I agree, like 3-Bit said, with the political pressure from the American government towards the Japanese government right now with their trade agreements and stuff like that, saying you're not upholding your end of the bargain here. It does put pressure on a little bit to make them maybe ease off of trying to block a deal with the JFTC or whatever.
In terms of timing, this is the time.
And they obviously, with their previous thoughts, still thought they would be able to potentially get one of these acquisitions through, even in Japan. So it'd be interesting. Sega, for me, checks the most boxes of different things that Microsoft's looking for. As an RTS lover, again, it's great for me. You got lots of great RTS there. You got 2 of the best RTS developers in the world out there as well. Then you have multi-talented studios, not just in the East, but in the West as well, and in Europe. Sega crosses all over the place. And if they're expanding more into mobile as well, that's even a better fit. Yep. So it's
correct.
The thing is, though, that Sega has such a large name, like they would kind of have to, again, go and convince all these like FTCs and stuff that like Sega's actually not that big. We know you may have heard of it, but they're not that big.
But so, like, dollar-wise, it wouldn't even be, anywhere. Yeah. Again, they would look at it from, now that you got the regulatory bodies all educated too, the next one is going to be much smoother, especially if you walk in and say, oh, we're paying, I'm just throwing out a number, $8 million for Sega or $8 billion for Sega. Like that's going to be like a ZeniMax purchase all over again, right? It's not going to be anywhere near, even if Sega does have the name. And that's why I said right away they would just come out and say, Sonic's staying everywhere. Don't worry, folks. You're not going to lose Sonic. We're not going to do any of that stuff. But it would be, if they get this Rovio purchase through for Sega, now you're talking about, again, another perfect fit, 3 pieces all in place, mobile, PC, and console. Again, it's a trifecta that Microsoft is looking for when they go make these purchases. And so I'm just saying, like I said, there
Square is funny.
Yeah,
some people are saying Square in the comments.
And Square is the biggest mobile publisher in the East, right? Which most people don't know about. And who was it that brought it up to us?
Chris. Chris brought it up. No, Hargeet.
Hargeet.
But
that's
Chris
right.
has been on the Square Enix train for like 3 years now, I think.
we gotta give Chris props if it ever happens, because he was the one that said it. But Hargeet brought that up that night when we had him on Xbox Ultimate, and that blew my mind that Square is the biggest mobile publisher in the East. Again, makes a lot of sense.
Scorched earth, if
yeah, no, and like I said from the beginning, I would love to see that happen just for the
that would be
blowing
so
up.
funny.
It would just be insane. But I think Sega just makes way too much sense. If you're going to do it, you couldn't find a better partner in Sega. You really couldn't. At the end of the day, all things line up with Sega.
The one thing that happens though, usually in these deals, is like it's always the company that no one's mentioning. So it's like, who's it going to be? Yeah.
It's true. I mean, nobody would have guessed ABK, right?
Yeah.
Nobody would have guessed ZeniMax. Nobody thought that would happen because we didn't know how big
That was
they were
like
going with
one of the first
acquisition.
ones, too,
Yeah,
so.
we didn't know how big they were going or how serious they were about acquisition at that point. So that one caught us off guard. But when you look at ZeniMax, makes total sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Again, their ties run deep. It's so organic, isn't it? Everybody, so organic that this is ZeniMax happening.
No, only Sony does organic.
That's right. I forgot. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun. Acquisition season's gonna be back on the books, boys. Let's go.
They probably wait though until they get all the approvals. You think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll see. Maybe in August we'll get an announcement of a Sega acquisition.
January 2024. It'll start off the year.
They signed the document and say, okay, we're finally done with this. Okay, now here's $8 billion for Sega. Thank you.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Oh, by the way, they're closing up. They're like, by the way, here's our documentation for the Sega acquisition, just up front, so you guys can start looking at it now.
Slides it across the
Man.
That would be funny.
Can you imagine Microsoft owning both Candy Crush and Angry Birds?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
Two of the biggest
for their
mobile games. Yeah.
For their mobile store that they want.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I can with Call of Duty Mobile thrown in there as well.
That's also why it raised it on my list of like acquisitions, like Sega. If that Rovio deal goes through, I would expect like Xbox to be like,
you just got tastier.
You don't think Microsoft said, "Hey Sega, you know what might raise your interest from us just slightly and raise your price up for an offer? You know, the Rovio's looking pretty enticing out there. We can't do anything right now, but well, maybe we'll see you later this year. You know, just make it happen."
Imagine get StarCraft come back. We get Total Warhammer on console. Oh my god, life would be so good as an RTS.
Let's have a Warcraft RTS come back.
What other RTS
Warcraft,
like
bring it back?
They would own like a monopoly on RTS games.
Correct. They would.
If you think about it, they would own a monopoly on RTS games and also like RPGs.
Yeah,
like Western RPGs. And goodness,
100%.
You have Skyrim. Outer
Company
Worlds,
of Heroes is Relic. It's published by Sega.
Relic and Creative Assembly have both helped on the Halo Wars games.
Yes.
So I'm just
saying another one. StarCraft Halo Wars comes back. We get Total Warhammer on console. We get Warcraft RTS back.
Is that
Warcraft? Oh my god.
Sega also has fighting game developers too.
Yes.
Are they
and Atlas?
Wow.
I think
That's
Relic
Sega?
also helped with Age of Empires 4 and some of the remake stuff. So
wow, that is Sega.
Age of Mythology too.
Yep.
They also made like Alien Isolation.
I forgot Creative Assembly. I mean, they work pretty closely sometimes with Creative Assembly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they did
Halo Wars.
Wow.
They did Halo.
Yeah,
So
like Fable. They're helping with it. No, that's Crystal Dynamics. Or Eidos Montreal. Sorry.
So they're like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, Creative Assembly is really versatile. I mean, to do like RTSs like they do, to also do a game like Alien Isolation, right? Like crazy versatile.
They should handle RoboCop.
I don't know who's developing RoboCop right now, but like
Nacon. Nacon is.
I know, but the developer, you know, but it's they need to work on the AI slightly.
Like I just like how they handled the Alien franchise. Like when you handle a franchise like Alien or Terminator or RoboCop,
big IP,
big IPs. Yeah, you treat it with respect. Like you look at the source material, and only a few people I feel like can really do justice with it. I feel like Creative Assembly would kill it.
Speaking of aliens, though, Jasper, that video you posted of the new Dark Descent from IGN, Yo,
Yeah.
that's looking incredible.
When does that come
Matt,
out?
did you watch
Yeah.
it?
I haven't had a
Okay.
chance to watch the new video yet, but
You have
Yeah,
to
I
watch
haven't
because
either.
from IGN, and the IGN guy was praising it nonstop
Yeah.
and showed it off. It looks phenomenal.
that's coming
This
to
is gonna be another-
Xbox too, not
Yes.
just PC,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
When does this
It's
release
June.
date? June.
June, I want to say July, June.
Yeah, I
end of
think
June.
something like that.
Yeah, I think it's end of June, maybe.
Right.
Looks phenomenal though. So anybody into the Alien franchise that's like strategy games, this is gonna, squad-based strategy. So you're not controlling individual people, you're doing the actual squad
More of a tactics game.
tactics game,
Yeah.
style game. Go watch this latest IGN look at it. It looks everything that I wanted in that type of game. That's what this is gonna have. It looks like I said from the beginning, I was like all psyched for it and hyped for it.
Yeah.
But now that I watched this thing, I was like, okay, this is it. This is gonna be a great game.
Cool.
Can't
I
wait.
want to watch that.
Creative
Yeah.
Assembly is working on that new Hyenas game right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing Hyenas. They do all the Total Wars games. They've done Halo Wars, Alien
StarCraft coming back.
Isolation. Crazy.
Crap
man.
coming back.
Possibly it would be sick.
Yep.
Wow.
It's
Well,
gonna happen.
StarCraft is
Didn't Phil
StarCraft is
mention that?
Blizzard.
Oh, is that Blizz? Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
Blizzard.
Didn't
Yeah.
Phil mention like certain IP?
Yeah, he mentioned StarCraft, and then
StarCraft.
Micah
yeah, and
Barra
then-
has made some interesting tweets regarding StarCraft.
Yes.
Or
Simu
comments.
Liu, right after Simu Liu mentioned StarCraft on
Yes.
Twitter, and Mike Ybarra coming. Simu Liu mentioned StarCraft coming back, and Mike Ybarra put a smiley winky face underneath
Yeah,
that tweet. So
I like Sumilu. He's a Halo fan too, like big time.
For those that don't know, he's the Shang-Chi actor
Yeah.
from the Marvel movie. So
Mhm. He's also going to be in Barbie.
okay.
Shout out to Spartan661 with a $2 super chat. Says, I want the StarCraft Ghost to come out so bad. Yeah.
I think that's been canceled for about 20 years. So
I think maybe if that acquisition happens, we could see it. Appreciate the super chat. All right, everybody. Well, that's gonna do it for this show. I want to thank everybody again for being here. You guys all rock again. Thank you all for all the support. If you do like the content, hit the like button, share it out, sub to the channel, hit the notification bell, all that kind of stuff. We also do have I think, is this the right image? No, it's not the right image. I don't even know what it is. We have some merch in the description below if you want to click the link there. It'll take you to the merch store. Kate redid all of our merch in the shop. If you feel free to check that out. Again, any support is appreciated, never expected whatsoever. But just you being here, guys, means the world to us. 3-bit. Are you back, Kate? Are you back, babe? Yes? No? No. She had to step away. She had texted me and said she had to step away. So 3-bit. Let everybody know where they can find you, bro.
Thanks for having me, man. Everyone can find me on the Twitters, the Bird app at i3bit. I post my gaming opinions on there. I sometimes showcase things I'm working on in the industry, and but usually just me just tweeting, supporting my friends, everybody on there. Just like check it out. In terms of shows, I am on FSP every Monday. I do try to hop on these shows when I can, when I get a little bit of a gap. But during the show, I was working, so you never really know what my schedule is going to be. But I appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Thanks for coming by. Psycho, Jason, Louis, Chris, Splin, OCD. I see you guys like constantly in our chat, so you guys are awesome. Thanks for like supporting every show we do.
Yeah.
Love y'all. I'll see you next time.
Even when we have to be critical, you guys rock.
Even when we have to be critical, that was a big thing this week. So appreciate y'all.
Jasper, where can everybody find you, sir?
Yo, check it out. I only did 2 yos today. Oh, that's 3. Shit. Little Jasper Twitter, Little Master Jasper YouTube, AI Game News Twitter, all that fun stuff there. And then it's FSP and Xbox Ultimate 10 o'clock every night. Well, not every night, Monday and Friday, right here, Fun Speculation Network, 10 p.m. Eastern, that is. So that's where I'm at. Check that out. Have fun.
Right on. Appreciate you. I don't know if Pong's back yet. If Pong is there. If not, I'm just gonna extend this so he can do his famous outro. Kate's not back yet either. So hey everybody, check out Caitlin on TikTok at Caitlin X0615. And check out, she's got a really cool TikTok going on over there with lots of cooking videos and stuff. If you like food, you will love her TikTok. Pong, what you got going on, bro?
You know the drill.
My dog's going out crazy outside. Oh my God. Wrong time, dog. Wrong time. Anyways,
don't interrupt my outro, dog.
Right. What's going on? Anyways, great show, everybody. Awesome night to be here, family. It was great discussions. Lots of interesting topics. We're even back on a little acquisition season talk. Gotta love this time.
Ready.
Let's go. Chat, you guys were amazing. Again, over 150 people here showing up, showing out for these shows here and every other channel. It's been crazy seeing some of the numbers out there. This community is growing, and it's fantastic to see all of you, no matter where you're at. So thank you all for being here. Nothing but respect for supporting all of us in what we do. Because without you guys, again, we're nothing. We're just a bunch of gamers sitting around bullshitting. So thank you all for being a part of this. It's been fun. You know the drill. Pong Soul on Xbox, Pong Soul on Twitter. And then, of course, tomorrow morning, it's Living Split Screen. Yes, we are back. My brother Steel Rain was under the weather last weekend, to say the least. He was not feeling good. We'll be back tomorrow morning, catch up with everybody. We're going to have a great show, so I hope you can show up. Set those alarms, set those reminders now. Bring a friend, tell a friend. Tomorrow morning, Living Split Screen, all one word, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, where we get your day started the right way, live, raw, and uncut, as Steele likes to say, tomorrow morning. So be there. Tomorrow night, the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam. Of course, it's the Blam channel. Big numbers over Blam. Finally showing some growth. Love to see you all showing up there on Saturday nights. It is at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. PTK Blam, Fuzzy Belvedere, myself, and of course, tomorrow night we have Dirk Griggity on. And then, of course, it's the best way to end your Saturday night. Next week, it starts all over again. Xbox Factor every Tuesday. All good things green. Double Barrel Gaming. Mr. Boomstick. 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Every Tuesday afternoon. Be there. And then, of course, Thursday, it's PM in the PM. Right back here on the Fun Speculation Network, where I have the lead chair, Pong and Mav in the PM. And I think we're going to have a special guest this week, potentially. We'll let Mav shore up those details, but we're going to have a great time on Thursday night, no matter what, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. Otherwise, it's the golden age of gaming, people. Play what you love what you play. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.
Right on, man. Thanks, Pong. Vik The CLiCK hit us with a $10 super chat. Amazing, Vik The CLiCK. Says, amazing as always. My Friday nights are amazing because of you. Happy to see Caitlin here, and it's my B-Day weekend, so I'll be taking them shots. Right on, Vic. Happy birthday, dude. Have a great birthday this weekend. Hope you have a fucking awesome time. And everyone, again, appreciate you all. Take it easy. Have a great night. Peace.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.